So welcome back, everybody, to whatever the fuck this is. So we've had another one mini-sode in between, just catching up, because our missing party member has joined us today. Say hello, Hannel.
Oh dear, have we
Or
lost
don't
her
say
already?
anything, that's fine too.
I said hello.
It was not picked up.
Oh.
So we left off last time. Who would like to do us a quick recap?
I will.
Okay.
Bashir, the best party member of the entire group. This is not my arrogance and pride getting to me. Trust me.
Of course
So
not.
Bashir, who is totally not just as an asshole. We all started our days as we usually do. Me, not sleeping. Dulu, not sleeping. The other two weak ones, sleeping. They're totally weak and not stronger than me.
We killed Big Squid and I have food. There, done. We got to city.
Well, kind of. But we went off. We had our interactions with the NPCs of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was not being a absolute flirt with Leanne. Totally not. Totally, nothing is going to come out of this at all. Anyway, we continue with our day, and everyone went to sleep, minus me, cause I don't sleep. I was sitting on the deck. I'm like, oh, that's a giant squid. Oh fuck, that's a giant squid. And then we got attacked. Then combat happened. I showed why Eldritch Blast is the single best spell in the game. Then we killed the giant squid. We ate giant squid. Captain's like, hey, you guys see that? And we're like, oh, stranded man. We should go get him. And Torin's like, yes, even if he stabs us in the back. I'm like, no, we shoot him in the head and kill him if he tries to kill us. And Torin's like,
And then
nah.
we use him for food.
I'm going to ignore I'm just going to ignore that. Anyway, we take them onto the boat. I'm the only one who can communicate with them. I don't tell them about the fact I was contemplating shooting them in the back of the head if they tried to betray us. I'm like, what's your name? He's like, holding up my fucking notes. I've been doing. Aaron. His name is Aaron. Yes. And he's like, I've been on that island for so long. And I'm like, yes. You are totally fucked in the head, aren't you? Probably. So are you. True! And then we talked. And then Omikaze, he had dinner with the captain along with the rest of the people. And we basically were like, okay, let's all go to bed and have our little talk with our separate NPCs. And no one, and I mean no one, does anything that's not safe for work at all.
Jesus Christ.
It's not bad for you all to appreciate someone. It just be less loud next time. I heard you in the morning. It's kind of disturbing.
They weren't in your part of the ship, luckily.
Oh, thank gods.
Yeah, I mean,
Awkward.
I think you've got most everything there. So it comes to sunrise the following day, and by the time you awake, the ship is already a hub of movement. There are crates being moved and ready for unloading. There are people running back and forth getting breakfast and waking up other members of the crew, and just excited sound fills the area. You guys have been on this boat for a month now, so you're very much ready to get back on land. It's kind of a flurry of activity. No one's really going to pay too much attention to you guys straight off the bat. Bashir, you wake up in this little nest you two made in the hull, alone. Leanne is nowhere to be found, and there are people you can hear getting closer with noise. So you may want to hurry up and make yourself decent.
Oh, I'm good at this. I had made myself decent.
I will say, there are dozens of people in the hold at the moment. There is no way out of here without people having some idea. There are a pile of blankets and pillows with you.
You think Bashir gives a shit?
Okay. Just struts out to some whistles and catcalls, probably.
Aldi, goodbye.
You won't have to deal with these people much longer. So far this morning, neither Torin nor the captain have been seen. Torin didn't return to the room you guys share last night. You're not entirely sure where he is. But he may or may not pop up later as his player is AWOL. So, the ship is quickly pulling into dock at the moment. There are a lot of shouting and movement, and you guys are going to be basically shoved into a corner and told not to move for fear that you'll accidentally destroy something or delay something. It's an interesting morning, we'll put it that way. It's a lot worse than when you left the port. And we are now going to change the map over to Karan, where we will be spending the foreseeable future. So you're coming into the Harlech Bay in the south here. Again, it's the southernmost point, and you can see the city of Annul spread out before you. So the layout of Annul is in several rings. The most visible to you at the moment is the harbour area, which is on the outer ring. The docks are surprisingly small for such a major port, but presumably because of the dangerous travel in and out, they try and keep the number of people docked to a minimum and only who absolutely is necessary. You are quickly pulling into one of these docking bays now. That sounds a bit too sci-fi, but I'm going to go with it. From the docks, you can see a large stone wall and a rather large clock tower directly in front of you. It seems like you would have to pass through this wall to enter further into the city. And you can see higher up on the hill another wall that seems to ring around a further section of the city. I'm actually going to hop us over to the Annul map. And you guys can see we're coming in from the south here. This is the clock tower you're looking at. There are rings to the city. But it's going to take a little while for you guys to get situated, so if there's any last minute things you want to do on the ship other than gathering your belongings, now is certainly the time to do it.
Oh
boy.
No, I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
At the moment, the only thing I can really think of him really doing other than gathering things up is like gathering up that last bottle of ginger beer.
Yeah. Which I would assume is in
The
your
only
equipment
one-
anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
guess the only thing really is he's cleaning his I say sword, it's just a big butcher knife.
Yeah. No problem. So, it takes a little time for you guys to actually get docked fully. There's a period of time of waiting within the harbour walls before you are allowed to make land properly and shore up. There is again a flurry of activity as you pull in and everything settles. And it's probably a good 30 minutes after you have pulled into the dock that you are actually allowed to disembark. Grull will approach you, shake each of your hands in turn, and apologise for the captain not being present this morning. In that he is about to go and disturb him because there is a lot of paperwork to be filled out when you first arrive at a new port, even if you are a repeat visitor. But he will gesture down to the gangplank and say, "You should make your way. There'll probably be customs to meet you in the tower."
Omikaze starts to kind of shiver a little before he remembers something.
Mhm.
Small problem. If Port of members, I can't exactly read common very well. I can, but it's not as good as my other two languages.
Mr. Redman, I'll do it for you.
No. Okay. Thank you, boss.
Okay, just stay with me.
Perfect. As you disembark, the port is a hub of activity, mostly centered around yourself. You can see pushing through a crowd of dock workers making ready a rather stern-looking half-elf man who basically shoves past the party and marches on board. He has a large clipboard stacked with papers, and a younger lad follows behind him and gives you an apologetic glance before following after his master. You would guess, at the look of him and the presence that he seemed to pull between the workers, that he's probably the harbour master. But other than that, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze through the dock workers and sailors, but it isn't very difficult to head off of the actual wooden docks and into slightly more solid ground.
Especially for big old omakase there.
Yes. You wouldn't be surprised to find people clearing a path for you a little bit. Though this is a very multicultural place and there are a lot of mixed people here, a lot of different races, a lot of different, backgrounds. Oni are very rare still. They're not something that most people here will have come across.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Do I even see half breeds? Because those are
No.
also
Half
but
orcs, there are several that you do spot, of a couple of different kinds, but no half onis. Onis are extremely rare in Quran. Again, they tend to stick to the wastes, and it's rare that they leave their homes very often.
Okay, we gotta go to the tower,
Mm-hmm.
they said.
So as you pass through, you will reach this concreted area here, or close enough, this cobbled area here. This is the first bit of solid land you guys have touched in several weeks, and it is very, very refreshing. There are several shops and a tavern built into the wall here on either side of the tower, and the area is also filled with market stalls, mostly selling, as you would expect, fish. Though there does appear to be at the far end what appears to be some sort of shipwright or carpentry business that are taking up a good chunk of the space down here. But as you move towards the tower, you do see a small single file queue of individuals, and more are already approaching, so you may want to hurry.
Omakase tries to get there quickly. Though he does understand what a line is, he doesn't understand why it exists, but he does know you're not supposed to cut in front. So he would sit in the back, and if anyone tries to cut in front of him, he would kind of look at them and go, "Really, you're really going to do this? I don't think it's a good idea." Like anyone who would try to walk by him to get to the front, unless they look important, but he doesn't know what that looks like. So
Yeah, so it does appear that there are two entrances and exits set up here. There are two large sets of arches under which you are on the rightmost side. Towards the left, there do appear to be people coming and going freely without queuing. You're not entirely sure why or what for, but they seem to just pass straight through the entirety of this building. However, the line you are in passes under a different set of arches, which there are windows cut into the brick on either side. And though the passage that's next to you directly is relatively empty, with a few people trickling in towards you, the queue that you're in is quite long, and you would assume is going to take a little while, as there are only about 2 or 3 windows that you can make out from this angle. You do, however, spot several guardsmen pacing up and down in bright crimson cloaks and shining armor. It, at a glance, doesn't look like they've probably seen a very large amount of combat, but a sword is a sword.
yeah, also in a town full of probably a bunch of other guards.
Yes.
So
It is going to be a painfully long wait. Again, customs, wherever you go, tends to be very slow, very tedious, and very irritating. And Annul is no different. Again, they are the main port in and out of Quran. There are a lot of people that pass through here every day. they're doing the best they can. So it's probably a good couple of hours and pushing towards noon by the time that you actually reach to the front of this queue. Now, do you approach as a group, or are you all splitting off and approaching as individuals?
I mean, Hanel is approaching with Omokaze because Omokaze straight up was like, I can't read Codman very well, and she was like, I'll do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but there's also the fact that Omakaze is like really like he gets nervous around people who are smaller than him. It's why he's always so fidgety, especially with like so for example the dwarf lady. He's really fidgety, not because he's scared of them. It's more of like he knows if he moves in the wrong way, he'll hit somebody with like something, whether it's something on his back or just his body in general, and that would make people upset. So he does try to separate from people. Granted, I would imagine it would be kind of hard in a crowded place like this.
Yeah, there is no social distancing in this world right now. We'll put it that way. People are standing a near enough respectable distance apart, which is probably only about a few inches. However, if you are actively looking nervous, Dulu, you have quite a high perception, don't you? Let me double check.
17.
Yeah, cool. You will spot this then. Amongst the guardsmen who seem to be watching this queue that you're in, you've noticed that for the past sort of hour or so, one of them has been keeping a close eye on the big guy. His armor is slightly more well worn than the others, though it does look more expensive. And he is wearing a tabard which seems unique to him amongst his peers. Doesn't appear to be approaching the group yet, but he has definitely clocked you as the big guy is unusual here. He does also appear to be holding a stack of papers in his hand, which he is handing individually to every person who passes through.
Bashir, if Dulu would let Bashir would probably go, because Bashir knows if we go with the Oni, they're going to fucking keep us there for 10 hours straight. He'd go with Dulu separately, mostly because he knows they're not getting through anytime soon. Me and Dulu are very normal and not threatening.
Cool. So, who's going in front? Who's going first? Which little group have we got?
So Hanel's staying with Omokaze because Hanel are like,
Mhm.
I'll help you with the paperwork, Redman.
That
It's
is fine,
okay."
but we have two groups of two, so which group is in front and which group is behind?
Chances are, through a mix of excitement of getting more food and nervousness of can we just get this over with, Omakaze would borderline run there. Like he
Okay,
wouldn't
great.
actually like sprint, but he would definitely waddle a little quicker.
Power walk.
No. It's waddle. His legs can't be stretched that far.
He's
Oh,
very
no.
wide. He's very wide. He's taking up like most of this archway that you're stood in at the minute. It's kind of cramped. That is fine. In that case, we will start with Hanol and Omer. So, you are called forward to the middle of the three windows here. Now you've approached, you can see properly exactly what you're dealing with. Behind which is a very tired and very bored looking dwarven woman. She is not initially looking up at you as you approach. She is scribbling down furiously something in a notebook. Seems to be cross-referencing something with a stack of papers next to her. And she will, without looking up from her work, go, "Have you been to Annul before?"
No.
No, I've never been here. It's the first time I've been to this continent. Like you, I can't really.
Oma, it's okay. Calm down. Calm down.
Sure, so I'm going to need names for, I'm assuming, how many of you? And she finally looks up. And freezes. And she
Oh,
looks
no.
at you for a moment. And she turns to her left to something you cannot see. And she turns to you. And she turns to her left. And she says, "One moment, please."
Okay.
And lifts her arm up and pulls a shutter down very slowly.
Oh, eventually told me this kind of thing would happen.
Oma, hey, Oma.
Like he
calm
legitimately
down.
starts to look like he's about to cry.
Oma, it's okay. Calm down.
He told
Calm down.
what happened? She called it racism. I don't know what that means.
Calm down.
After a moment
Oma,
or two,
calm down.
the shutter is raised once again to the same woman, now holding a rather large stack of paperwork. And she sighs heavily and dumps it onto her desk. And says, "Okay, I'm going to need your race, sir?"
I have to fill it out. He's not very good at common, so
That
I
is
have to fill it out.
That's fine,
for
dear,
him.
but I need to know which set of forms it is. Your race, sir.
I'm an Oni? Is that...
Oh.
Wait, have you never seen an Oni before?
It was in the training documentation, but I've not come across one of your kind personally. But I do believe we have preset paperwork for you, which will save us a lot of time. And she begins skimming through this stack of papers, moving chunks and chunks and chunks together. From what you gather, these are probably for different kinds of less common races. They're import papers. She is staggeringly fast going through this pile, and it is probably about 2/3 down that she finally pauses and slaps the pile of paper she has left and goes, "Finally." So we do have 5 sheets here to fill out. Not to worry, it is just some basic information in case of emergency and to ensure the safety of yourself, people you are travelling with, and the citizens of this city. You said he has poor common. Are you his translator?
Yes.
And you are human, yes?
No. Kalish Star.
Common racist.
And you see why we went
Okay.
separate, Dulu.
Kalishtar.
Yes.
And are they native to Arathan?
Don't know.
Okay, great. Okay, let me... And she puts the only stack of papers to one side, pulls the stack of paper back, piles it up as one pile, and begins flipping through from the top again.
Omakaze would scratch it. Omakaze would Omakaze would scratch his head. You a what? A Kalish store?
Yeah.
I thought you were a human.
No.
Like the rest of them?
No.
Okay.
No. We look like him, though.
Okay. I guess it's a decent way to blend in. I've been told that's a good thing to do.
We just don't dream.
She gets to the bottom of the paperwork and sighs heavily again and goes, "Dear, are you sure you're not human?"
I mean, if you want to say I'm human, I'm not going to do anything about it, but no, I'm not.
Omakaze would sniff. I mean, she smells like a human to me, but I wouldn't know. You know, magic and things.
I
know.
have no paperwork for, what did you say, Kalimtar? What? There is nothing. We don't have standardized paperwork for that.
Okay.
If you are not human or tiefling or similar, then that means we are going to have to do some further interviews and further paperwork.
Okay, I mean, I'm close to human. The only thing is, I don't dream.
She sort of stands up, leans over the desk, and looks out of the window towards the guardsman, and thinks for a minute, and before looking to you, and in a hushed voice says, "Honey, I need you to tell me that you are human. I am so close to quitting this job. Please do not make me do this."
Okay, then I'm human.
Great, thank you. And she sits back down at her desk.
I told you she smells human.
Exactly, my friend. And she reaches to her left, pulls out a single sheet of paper. She moves the massive stack off to the right somewhere you can't see, and lays down with her 2 piles of paper, and she will begin to go through the import papers for you. For a human, it is very, very simple. Name, place of origin, kingdom of origin, current residence, intent in Quran, all the basic stuff. For the Oni, there is a lot more information and also a lot more stuff for you to sign. Every page requires at least 2 to 3 signatures, and involves much more in-depth write-ups of, for example, the average diet of your hometown, and the average life expectancy of your hometown, and more in-depth descriptions of your exact homeland. There's a lot more bullshit, basically.
Which Hannah will sit there as you describe it and write it all down.
Out of character, I'd like to point out, I know this is accurate to how it's like in real life, because this is exactly what my father had to go through to get into the States.
Exactly. You will be here for a little while. She is relatively quick, and she seems to be very good at transcribing what you say and paraphrasing. But there are sections of it which she simply cannot fill in herself and has to get you to do. Which obviously at that point,
I will say this: when it gets to the diet part, he seems angry when he says, "We mostly eat dried meat, just nothing but dried meat." He says that angrily. It's the only time he doesn't seem nervous.
that is fine. But she will, like I say, make you go through these papers. Like I say, there are sections you have to fill in your own words that she is not allowed to fill in. There is on Omikaze's form a long form piece about exactly what your intent in the continent, in Samarin, and in Annul are as 3 separate questions. So it takes a little bit of time.
I will point out, all of them will have a single sentence. I want to find new food. That's literally all it says.
Meanwhile, we're going to cut over to Bashir and Dulu. It is only probably a couple of minutes after the other 2 have been called up that you are pulled to the far end window. And there is a somewhat nervous-looking boy behind the counter. You would put him as probably no more than about 16, a human. Face still full of acne, very nervous, shock of red hair, which is tried to be slicked down and tidied, but is not. It doesn't look good. Behind him is a rather bored-looking man. Seems to be a half-elf potentially, though his ears are rather long, but he does have a beard. He looks like he is actively falling asleep. He is leant against the wall of this little cubicle and is sort of semi-dozing as the boy in front of you panics as he glances across you. He looks at you first, Bashir, and seems somewhat relaxed because you are a relatively common race. Tieflings here a lot. However, he does glance over at Dulu with their seaweed hair and begins to sweat.
Torin is here. Yay!
I did hear a beep for Torin.
Go through customs.
You get to go through customs alone because you weren't here. Are you okay, man?
I was so dead. Like, I was asleep. I was a rock.
I was spam calling you on multiple platforms, and you showed as available in Facebook, my friend.
And I don't know why is that, but no, I was a fucking dead rock. I am so sorry. Oh my god.
It's okay.
How
what
dare
we'll do,
you be late?
I will finish the current scene of getting them through customs, and then I will cut over to you. You will have only been a minute or 2 behind them, so you're probably a couple of people behind in the queue and no more.
Okay.
But we'll get to that in a moment. I will finish what we were currently doing.
I'd like to point out, Hanul has taken over your job of helping Omikaze try to get translated through, and it turns out Star don't exist as an uncommon race. She pretty much said since she's human.
Wow, so you replaced me like that, huh?
Okay. Yeah, you kind of did really quickly.
I mean, when you're busy off, getting laid and ignoring the party, I mean, what? Not much I can do, my friend. Not much I can do. So.
Yeah, my character kind of has
also
reason
the one
why.
who contracted, Omikaze to work for me, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Back to where we were. This kid looks very, very nervous as he speaks up and says, welcome to Annul. My name's Dean. we're gonna go through some customs paperwork. Can I take your races, please?
Oh, Dane, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Bashir. I'm a tiefling. You seem
Yeah.
very nervous. Are you okay?
I'm an apprentice. It's the first day I've done this. Up front. And he sort of nervously glances behind him at what you assume is supposed to be his mentor, who's actively snoring now. Just leaning against a wall and snoring. He says, it's been a long day. Tiefling's nice and straightforward. And he pulls out a single sheet of paper from his left again, and then looks slightly panicked at Dulu. Can I
Hello.
get your race, please?
Things. I think a Triton.
Triton. Can Tritons walk on water? Okay, sure. And he looks to his left, and you at this point must assume there is some sort of stacks of paperwork here, basic forms, which are all laid out, and he just stares there for a while.
Alphabetized, most likely. I would start check towards the top, then check the middle. If it goes A and then goes to O, you should check towards the bottom because Triton starts with T.
And you see his eyes go from the top straight down to the bottom. No, I'm not seeing Tritons. And he turns slowly and says, Mr. Burton? Mr. Burton? And with his pen, he just gently pokes the man. Nothing happens. And he panickedly looks around at you and says, I don't know what to do.
Allow me. Hello, sir. Your apprentice requires your aid real quickly. Would you mind waking up for us?
Are you speaking at a normal level?
Yeah.
There is no response.
Okay.
This is a relatively busy area. It is pretty noisy here.
So this character is me, because he cannot wake
Apparently,
up
yeah.
by any normal means. Oh my god.
I mean, I have a solution for you, but that would require stopping Makaze and asking him to help in exchange for food.
And at the minute, you guys are actively panicking over paperwork. So.
This is true. Well, Makaze's panicking. Hano looks like she's about as happy as can be that she only has to answer one sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Bashir looks down at the kid. Okay, kid. I need you to breathe and look me in the eye.
Okay.
Everything's going to be fine. Bashir looks at the paperwork. What?
Are you leaning over into the window?
Nah, I just realized it involved him leaning over in the window, and that's a stupid idea, Customs. That's how you get shot. Bashir was like, okay, what's the first race on the pile of paperwork?
Humans.
Okay, so it's probably sorted by rarity. So humans and tieflings and the most common races.
It's
are most likely
humans,
at the top.
elves, then there's half elves, and then there's dwarves, and then there's a lot of them. Do you want me to list them all? There's like...
No.
Okay.
What I need you to do is simply look at the name of the race.
Uh-huh.
And if it's not a Triton,
Okay.
just flip the paper over, nice and calmly.
They're on
down.
the wall. They're in like shelves on the wall. I don't know what turning the paper over will do.
My friend, I believe this is what's called being completely boned.
Okay.
I'm gonna go and I don't want to go and get my supervisor because what if I get him in trouble?
Okay. Hey, Bashir looks over at him. Can I real quickly do something? It's just a wave of the hand and a simple word that would work.
We're not supposed to recommend magic use in here.
Oh, okay. Well then. Hey, wake the fuck up.
just get fucking angry.
I heard a slight pop, and I just imagined you grabbing the kid's pen and launching it. Okay, so let me roll. Hang on. I should have brought my physical dice with me. Wow, he is dead asleep.
Wow, he is.
He is a rock. This man has. You've not seen babies sleep this well. He might be dead.
Chance of death. Heart attack on job. Possible.
Sure looks over.
With this kind of environment?
Probably. Well, how about we have time. Me and my friend have time. Isn't that right, Dulu?
I can stand here for days staring at this window.
That's kind of creepy. I hope it won't be that long. I can maybe ask somebody else. I'm kind of worried about Mr. Burton. One moment, and he stands up, and he doesn't lower the window. He turns around and walks through a door in the back of his little cubicle, straight past this Mr. Burton, this half-elf, who absolutely does not disturb.
Wait, that's weird. He's a half. Oh wait, half elves can sleep.
Yes,
So,
he has very long ears for an elf, but he has got a beard, so you're assuming a half-elf.
Maybe it's just a glued-on beard.
With that, we will cut over. You know what? We will actually cut over to you, Torin, and we'll do a quick
Hi.
catch up and get you, because you're only a few people behind them in the queue. It didn't take you that long, and with how long these two are taking, you're probably going to get up there in time. So, they have pulled into dock, and Grull has said goodbye to the rest of the party before storming over to the captain's quarters and banging on the door. Because both you and Kren are still in bed.
fun there, buddy?
What?
There is a
Yeah,
loud
you didn't-
pounding on the door. You and Kren are still laid in bed currently.
No. Yeah, I did heard of it, but
Okay.
but Ian said something.
No, I was being. Never mind.
Ah, okay, yeah.
It wasn't serious. It was just me being mean.
I mean, if you don't respond, the banging's only going to get louder.
Is Kren not gonna? Is
Kren
he
is
still asleep?
fucking
as well?
out, man. You got high, got drunk, and banged last night. This man is dead to the fucking world. Also, he's used to Grull's bullshit, so he can sleep through fucking anything.
I'm gonna try and wake him up, like move him softly.
Cool. Let's see how that works. In fact, why am I manually typing that in? I have a character sheet for him. On the boat, Kren. So, nope, he's still asleep, man.
I'm gonna shake him a
He
little bit harder.
disturbs slightly, swats your hand away, and just rolls over.
Like,
Literally. The banging
gonna get
comes
up.
again.
I get dressed and I say, just a moment.
Do you call that out?
I mean,
His soul's about to leave his body.
Are you asking me if I actually say
Yeah,
that?
did you say that? Did you actually call that out towards whoever's knocking on the door?
Yes.
Cool. There is a heartbeat, and then the door is violently kicked open as Grull marches into the room, weapon drawn, before seeing you, eyes locking onto the bed, seeing Kren, eyes locking back onto you, and just sighing heavily.
This was the exact reaction I was expecting. I am not disappointed. Fuck yes.
He stands up straight again, reaches out to the case to his left, yanks a trinket off the side of it, a small metal, what looks like a jewelry box, possibly, but you don't get a very good look at it before he launches it at Kren's head as he sleeps.
I thought, oh, this might be a magical artifact to help him wake him up. Maybe he has, maybe he has some salts that will make him wake up. No, just yeet it at him.
Kren lets out a not very manly squeak, sits bolt upright, and throws it back at his first mate, who just turns wordlessly and leaves, slamming the door behind himself. Kren is going to stretch, offer you a tired smile, and say, well, I suppose we kind of overdid it a little bit last night. What time is it?
Of course, he sounds like Azzy now. It all makes sense.
Kren is older than Azzy. I have had this character in my head a lot longer than Azzy's existed, so...
That just makes it worse.
He is gonna, however, stand up and start getting dressed, before sort of glancing out of the window. There's a small balcony on the back of his quarters, and he will lean out, see where you are, what time it is, and panic. Shit, okay, so that explains why he's so upset at me. Okay, paperwork. Torin, fantastic night, absolutely enjoyed it, thank you very much. You know where to find me. We'll be in town for a week or so. We've got some repairs we need to do, and then 2-month round trip. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, but I do apologize right now. I feel really bad for doing this, but I'm very late. And he, as he's saying this, he is actively like throwing on clothes, hopping around as he yanks his boot on, and just grasping at piles of paperwork on the table. Gone is the calm and suave gentleman of last night. This man is panicking. He just scoops up paperwork by the armfuls and just hurries out of the door, paper trailing behind him. He does leave the door open, and you can see him almost immediately stumble in to a very stern-looking elven man with a young boy behind him, who is stood there with a clipboard filled with his own paperwork, with his pen tapping repeatedly on it. He's clearly very annoyed.
Yes, bureaucracy. The darkest of all of the magics.
True!
The most evil kind of magic that there is.
Is there anything you would like to do before leaving the ship?
I mean, let's say goodbye to everyone, and of course I will get dressed and pick up all of my stuff, and then just get off the boat.
Cool. Most people are running around manically. There are people running to and fro with bags and crates and boxes. Things are starting to be unloaded. There are members of the crew running around like a blue-ass fly. And it is as you begin to descend the gangplank onto the docks that you feel a light tap on your shoulder. And you turn around and see Leanne. You've interacted with her a few times, I believe. Not in any great depth. You know that she hangs around with Bashir a lot.
Yeah. I was actually wondering if she was still in the boat.
Yes. She has over her shoulder a large bag and a slightly nervous smile, which she gives you, which she says, I was a little bit waylaid. I don't suppose you know where Bashir has gone? I mean, do you know where he's going to be staying?
Bashir, would my character know this information?
Oh, gosh.
I don't think he's told you, so...
Okay.
No! I never told Dragonborn.
I can say this, though. He could probably roll a perception check to see if he can see Bomakaza's head above everyone else.
Yes, because this is not very long after you guys have left the boat, so yes, you can. If you'd like to roll a perception for me.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, well, I don't know, and he's gonna roll perception. Fuck yeah!
No, there were a lot of people on the dock, and there are a lot of people currently rushing towards the ship, because it's the latest one in. It needs unloading. It needs repairs doing. It is busy. So not at a glance. She will sigh heavily and say, "Well, I mean, I can get through customs pretty quickly. I've been here a few times. Is this your first time coming in on the port?
Yes, I'm afraid it is.
But you're a native, aren't you? You're from
Something
Quran?
like that. Yes.
Okay, cool. I may be able to get you through customs a little quickly if you promise to help me find him. Because I
I
was a
was
bit late this morning."
I was actually gonna offer you to. I was actually gonna offer you help without that, but okay.
Okay, great. Follow me, I guess. And she begins heading down and towards the clock tower. So I did give a brief description. I will give a quick one now. As you can see on the map, you have the main docks here. You then have this large concrete and cobblestone area where there is a market set up. The wall has a tavern in it and several small shops. This section of the marketplace is basically cordoned off as a shipwright, a carpenter's. And then in the main clock tower, there are two sets of archers. One on the left, which people are coming and going through very quickly. They don't seem to be being stopped particularly. They are just moving straight through. And on the right, where there is a large queue forming. And you will, at this point, very easily see Omikaze. That's not a difficult check to do. Who is a couple of people ahead of you. There are people moving towards the queue. Leanne is going to actively drag you into that queue. She's going to sigh and say, if it was just me, it wouldn't be too bad. I can just zip straight through, but things can be complicated for newcomers, so I'll help you. It's fine. She's a lot more relaxed now. She can see Omikaze. It's a couple of hours in this queue. It's not a quick-moving queue. You've been through customs before.
No, I haven't.
It's
Well, it
tedious.
sucks.
Most of the time in modern day customs, when I've traveled to Texas, for example, when I've gone to America, it's been an hours long queue, and you get to the front, and it's bam, 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 you're done, you're gone. It's not quite the case here because we aren't in the age of electronics. So eventually you will get to the front of the queue. As the other two are taking so long, you will be allowed in to the nearest window, behind which is a elderly gentleman with a very kindly smile, who will look up at the two of you and say, it's been a while since I've had any of your kind come through my window. Normally they end up skipping right through me, but it's no problem. What's your kingdom of origin, my friend?
I'm sorry. Can you say that once more? Discord had a fart.
He asked for your kingdom of origin. He's not going to ask you race. He can see it.
Okay. Yes. Oh, I come from Tirot, sir.
Local. Well, kind of. No problem. We can make this paperwork slightly simpler then. And he will reach over and pull out a stack of 3 sheets of paper that you will need to fill out for your customs.
Is it a D&D sheet?
No.
Is it a D&D sheet?
Maybe.
As soon as he pulls out that paperwork, Leanne sort of leans gently on the bar in front of you, because there's a small place for you to put paperwork to sign and fill out. He has a bit larger desk on his side of the window. She's going to lean on your side with a very warm smile and say, I know you're about to ask me for my information as well, but I'm actually a worker. I have my paperwork here, which she produces. Think of akin to a passport because she comes through quite regularly. It is several sheets of paper still, but it marks her comings and goings, and she flashes it. Before placing her hand on your forearm, because she's not as tall as you, and saying, my friend here's relatively new to our ship. And I know, obviously, you're really busy and you don't want to be waiting around for ages. I mean, is there any way we can, skip this ahead a little bit? Like I say, we're in a little bit of a rush. And he will just sort of peer at her for a moment. And I just realised I didn't open up her character sheet, so one moment for me.
Oh
Nope,
no,
she's not
why?
Hey,
Why
you
is she
guys.
lying?
you guys wanted Leanne in. Well, someone wanted Leanne to come and join for a while, so.
God damn it, Bashir!
This is what happens when sometimes when you flirt with random NPCs that didn't exist until you asked about them.
Why the fuck you lying? Why
she's
you
not.
always lying?
He's just thirsty.
He's going to sigh heavily, look at her, and say, "All the questions do need to be filled out, my dear, but we can see what we can do to speed things along." And he will begin working down the list of questions as quickly as his old bones will allow him. He's kind of slow at writing. He's a little bit arthritic by the looks of things. And after a while, he will just slide you the paperwork to fill out yourself because it's quicker and easier. Again, it's similar to the sheet that Omakase had, slightly less detail required. Country of origin, intent during your stay, both in in Karan, in Samarin the kingdom, and in Annul the town. Where you intend to stay, where you've come from, blah 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 blah. It's relatively in depth because you are a dragonborn, and there are several signatures required, including a clause at the end, which is very specifically aimed directly at your
Dragonborn.
race. Yes.
Okay. What does it say exactly?
That you will permit to a stop and search by any guardsman who requests it.
Racist. Fuck yeah. Gotta love to see it.
It
you
also
have a better-
states that you will not use magic while within the city walls. This includes any form of magic, including magical items, bags of holding, and similar portable transports.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I'm going to ask if my dragon's breath counts as a magic.
Yes, it does. And for the purposes of this documentation, yes, it does.
Okay.
The man does apologise, but it doesn't seem very sincere.
It's okay, Omokaze's paperwork was 5 pages long, and Hanel's filling most of it out.
But yeah,
because Omakase can't read common very well.
But yeah, with that, we're actually going to skip back over to Amakaze and Hanol. You two are working your way down this paperwork, and the dwarven woman seems to be filling out her own set of paperwork, which she hasn't really told you about, but she's doing something. When there is a very, very faint, very light tap on the door behind her. Which at first she doesn't seem to register, she seems to be too busy with whatever she's doing. And then it comes again, very, very slightly louder. And then again, very, very slightly louder, until it is almost a proper knock. Not quite, still very, very mild-mannered. And she will eventually sigh, turn around, step over, and yank open the door for you to see who else but booth number 1. This 16-year-old gangly teen, riddled with acne and a shock of red hair, standing very nervously fidgeting side to side.
The sweet summer child.
I'm really sorry to disturb you, but Mr. Burton sent me over. I have a oh god, what would Triton! I have a Triton, and I can't find the paperwork. And she sighs heavily again and turns around to the stack that she had put off to one side and begins piling through the paperwork again before handing him the correct documentation. She has not said a word to this child the whole time. Not a word. She has just sighed heavily, given him papers, and shut the door in his face before she sits down and continues to help you.
Oh, the poor thing.
You are not going to be the first team finished. Again, there is a lot of paperwork for Omakase, unfortunately. We will skip back over, though, to Bashir and Dulu. There is only 2 sheets of paper for you. There is not a whole lot apparently known about Tritons, so it seems more to be questions of your individual needs than anything else. They don't seem to be interested in tracking you or, finding out too much about where you're from or what you're doing, but more Do you require direct access to the ocean during night? Do you need to breathe water? They seem slightly confused in the paperwork. You're not sure who put it forward, but it's there. And this boy is dutifully filling out line by line very slowly.
I'll definitely say yes to the water at night because that's where Dulu tends to sleep. Now, they don't technically need it, but they like it, so they're just gonna say they need it anyways.
Yeah. He seems slightly worried at this before flipping over the paper and sighing in relief, as it seems that there is something on the back that answers the next question he had. That he will fill out the paperwork with you. He will get you to sign everything and check everything over, before walking through the back door again and disappearing for a moment. It is at this time that Mr. Burton will disturb himself with a snore. And he will almost fall over because he's been slipped leaning against a wall with his arms folded at this point. And he will just sort of glance around the room slightly confused, see the barrier open with you there, and just sort of blink slowly at you for a second and say, "Did you see it? Where's the kid?"
He's doing our finishing our paperwork. Or he's finishing the process right now. He's
Right.
actually been quite helpful, in fact.
Good to hear. Good to hear. He's been struggling. What time is it?
You've been asleep for at least 2 hours.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yes. You'll have to forgive me. I covered a late shift last night. You know what, with the apprentice and yes. At which point the door opens again and the boy steps back through. He seems relieved when he sees that his mentor is awake, which quickly fades as Mr. Burton cracks him round the back of the head and says, "You should have woke me if you were having trouble. Why have you left the barrier open? You should know better than this." And the boy just sort of cowers in confusion before this larger man, before sort of accepting this berating and then shuffling forward to sit back down in front of you, very confused.
So Charlie.
Yes.
So Charlie. Can Bashir just look at him? So, he was doing his best. Why don't we all get along right now?
Fair enough. I almost said this man has worked in customer service for 40 years. Do you really think that can affect him? But no, we'll allow it. He will sort of back off a little bit and go, "Well, good to hear you have praise for him. Carry on, Dean." And just sort of shuffles to the back of the room. Dean will hand you both a set of papers that have now been transposed with your information on them. You have both been granted free access to the city, the kingdom, and the continent. There will be no further requirements. Your paperwork, Dulu, does include a section that you are permitted to ignore the evening's curfew should you require access to the water, but that you may be assigned an escort in order to do so.
Alright.
And you are allowed through. The guy wishes you a great day, stamps your paperwork, and gives you a little wave, seeming slightly happier at how you guys stood up for him. You know, you helped him, and you were really nice. And he's quite happy about that. You've certainly cheered his day up a little bit.
Aw.
Meanwhile, Leanne and Torrin, you guys are probably going to be the next to finish because Leanne is helping you with the paperwork and this guy is actively trying to rush you through. He himself will close this screen before stepping into the back to fill out your paperwork. And when he does emerge, it is a bright red booklet that he returns with, which he advises you, Torrin, that you must keep on your person at all times. You also must be very careful to watch the curfew that is currently in place, because it would be very, very, very easily for there to be some issue with the guardsmen. So he recommends you find a tavern early. As quickly as you can, boy. Off you go. So the two groups end up finishing around the same time. When you have finished in the archway and finished with your paperwork, you are allowed to walk further in to this small courtyard you can see on the map, which there are several guardsmen there, and the gentleman Dulu that you spotted before will immediately make a beeline for the group, especially keeping an eye on Torin, who is actively trying to catch up, mostly due to Leanne pulling him along. He will stick out an arm to cause you to pause in your step, Bashir and Dulu, but keeps his eyes locked on Torin for now.
Oh.
Is there a problem,
Hello.
officer? Do you need assistance?
Officer's a little much, sir. My name is Sir Iken Thorol. I don't mean to disturb you. I know you're having an interesting day already. It's not easy as customs. It is just a quick notice I need to make you aware of. Everyone entering the city is being asked to please pay attention and take one of these official notices, at which point he will hand you a piece of paper with an official seal on it, which I'm just going to show to players. If you scroll down, it is in plain text, because sometimes people struggle with the font. So, it reads, until further notice, a mandatory curfew is to be enforced across the whole of the Annul territories. Between it says sunrise and sunset. It's supposed to be the other way around. Please ignore me. All travel is banned, regardless of age or gender. All females aged 12 to 30 must be accompanied in public at all times. This is for your own safety and the safety of those around you. There is a killer on the loose. Remember, stay vigilant, stay safe, stay alive. And Sir Thorol does seem to have a very serious look on his face as he hands this to you, and he, again, has not removed his eyes from the Dragonborn.
So we have a
Racial profiling, huh? Okay, sure, buddy.
I mean, that's normal.
I mean, it's normal.
Yeah.
You think it's gonna be bad with Torin? Imagine when the freaking Oni walks in. With like the cleaver on his belt, the two axes on his back, and
So.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Do they have any like rolling of swords or weapons and all
They
that?
do have weapons. In fact, I can show you Sir Thorol now.
No, but like, okay, but he's an agent of the law. But what about us civilians?
Oh no, they have not. Yes, several civilians around are wearing weapons at the moment. Everyone is kind of on edge. In fact, now you've passed through customs and things are slightly more fresh of breath air, and you can see this is a large gate which is open into the inner city. You can feel the air. It is thick with fear. Everyone is eyeing each other nervously as they walk around, and you do notice now as you look out across the city, every woman that you cross paths with, everyone you see, is accompanied by a chaperone. Both the women and their companions seem to be armed. Those who are appearing to be porous sort of citizens are accompanied by parents, siblings. Sometimes it's women traveling in a group instead. The more wealthy individuals you see passing by, the merchants and the odd potential nobility at a glance, do seem to be accompanied by guardsmen, intentionally fully armoured, looking more akin to the law here and Sir Thorol himself than they do anything else. You also, if you glance up, because you are inside the boundaries of the wall right now, there are more announcements of the curfews all across it, and along the top line of the wall, where there is a walk space, there are dozens of guardsmen patrolling that you can see just straight away. There is very obviously a nervous air here. But he immediately, the first time he looks away from you, Torin, is to look over at Leanne and give her a very pointed look and say, should you need any help, Mum, you just need to ask. And she looks at him very confused and says, No, thank you. I'm doing fine. This wasn't in
He's asked.
place last time I came through. No, it's a rather recent development. The last couple of months, this has begun to be an issue. Just be wary.
There's a serial killer.
Yes.
Is there any information on him?
Not really. It's obviously official business. We are still investigating into it at the moment. So I cannot give you too many details, but the victims have all been women and they have been found across many different areas of the city. Hence the measures that have been brought in place.
Makes sense.
I would recommend following the curfew for your own safety, and two, to avoid any unnecessary trouble.
Why, of course. Actually, I have a very important question. Would you mind pointing me in the direction of a tavern?
Of course, what sort of thing are you looking for?
Oh no! Oh
Um,
no!
I'm currently looking for the Manticore.
Ah, Manticore's Tale, of course. It's one of my favorites, actually, and he will begin to give you directions. If you have any questions about the town, this is the man who would answer them, basically, at the moment. You do have access to all of the handouts of the basic information on most of the shops and taverns in town, which I've already given you access to, and you can scroll through at your own leisure. This is basically the information would give you, stuff that you would be able to pick up very quickly, asking around town. So if there's anything of interest there, have a look through. In the meantime, we have Hanol and Omikaze finally finishing up their paperwork and being given your books. Omikaze, yours, instead of being the plain paper that Hanol is given, is again a booklet, this time blue in cover, and you have also been advised to carry it at all times. And though it isn't in any of the paperwork you sign, she does suggest you make yourself available to the guards should they request it. Just for peace of mind for you and them, she advises.
He kind of scratches his head. Make myself available.
It means in case they want to question you.
Oh, I understood it as completely differently. Okay, that makes sense.
Best of luck, you guys. She turns to Hanol and says, I think you're probably going to need it.
I think I'll have to accompany him everywhere.
What?
Actually, that's probably a good idea, but the guardsman up ahead will explain that to you a little bit more.
Okay, come on, Oma, come on.
Goodbye.
Oh, okay.
Next!
Like some sort of child. As he kind of walks behind and with like this disgruntled look on his face.
As you step out into the sun, Thorol will stop mid-explanation of, we'll say the Flirty Fairy, for example, and excuse himself very politely and immediately turn towards Omikaze as he approaches and steps pointedly in front of him.
Like Omikaze is looking at him with like, so I'd like to point out like the art is accurate. He has like the wild hair. He isn't wearing a shirt. He has like the ridiculously massive horns. All of that is accurate. That is exactly what he looks like. Like even the stupid beads, though if anyone were to call them stupid, they would receive the flat end of his blade because those are his grandfather's. The point is that's what he looks like, minus the axe. Replace that with a giant cleaver on like his waist, and that's pretty much what he looks like.
And then there's 6-foot tall Hanol in front of him, essentially explaining stuff to him.
Yeah.
But but with his tusks out, he looks like he's frowning, and he's looking at the guard like, I haven't done anything wrong.
It's okay, Oma.
I apologize. I know that you've just been through a long process at customs. Just very, very quickly, I need to make you aware of a few things happening in the town, and he will hand you the notice as well. Again, he is very pointedly keeping his eyes locked on Omakaze.
So I presume he like what shoves the notice in his face.
Well, he hands them to you. He's not rude about it, but he is like pointedly staring at you.
Anna will read the notice to Omakaze because it's in common, and she'll explain it.
His eyes would widen. What? Why would he kill Greg? Cereal is amazing.
I have no idea what you just said. You were crackling out very bad. There's some static on the line.
Hold on a minute. Let me repeat that again because it was a joke.
I figured.
What? Why would he kill Grade? Cereal is amazing. How dare he burn his cereal?
Oh my god.
No.
You would with the serial killer. Oh my god.
No, it means he's
never been in this. He's never been in this area, so he has no idea.
No, Oma. He means that the person's killing women and lots of them for no good apparent reason. That's what it means.
He thinks about it for a moment. Oh, that's stupid. Women make food. That's a bad thing to do. Okay, well, we'll make sure to keep watch of this serial killer. And I'll make sure to bring him for his crimes from murdering Gray.
Okay. No, please allow the guardsmen to do our job. If you do see anything suspicious, please report it, but we are not advising people take matters into their own hands.
We will report it.
I will
say it's the guards' jobs, not ours.
I take it
he kind of looks at his hands and like opens and closes them. Okay, I'm not sure how to do that. Keep that in mind.
Miss, I take it this gentleman is your charge of some sort?
He doesn't understand common very well or social things very well.
I was raised raised in a village of orcs. He mostly spoke Orcish.
So I am to understand you are his handler then, yes?
Yeah, you could say that.
I would recommend you stay very close to him. I will alert, obviously, my fellow guardsmen of your guys' presence here, because it is going to cause quite a stir. But on a personal safety level, at the very least, I am less worried about you than I have been most people to come through these gates today.
He scratches his head. Now he's more confused. He's like, what? What is worried? Are you sure? I don't care. Look, I came here to look for some food. Is there any good food around here?
He just wants food. That's all he cares about.
Good food. You bring me any of that dried meat. You bring me any of that dried meat shit, and we're gonna have a problem.
He will recommend to you the rationals, and then turn back to the rest of the party with a charming smile and an apology at the distraction. But, duty calls when duty calls. Still at work at the moment. Is there anything else you require from me, or?
Oma, let's find a place to sleep for the night.
What? How could you sleep outside? It's not a bad day. Wait, what's your curfew?
It means we have to be inside at night.
Ew, like children. Nope. I haven't had to do that in a while, but fine. Okay, it's been over 112? Yeah, 112 years since I had to do that.
Okay, I'm going to assume that I am no longer required. Enjoy the rest of your stay in Annul, gentlemen and my ladies. If you do need anything, please don't hesitate to ask for me. I am in charge of this area. I can see what I can do to help. Other than that...
Okay, thank you. Bye.
And he will turn... look rather stressed for a moment before putting back on his smile and stepping forward to greet the next person to come out of customs.
She would look up at Leanne and go, hey, look, it's the gambler. How are you doing, Miss Gambler? Leanne, was it?
Hi. I am very glad you are here. I almost missed out on you guys. Bashir,
Yes.
I'm gonna stick around for a bit. If that's okay? Assuming you meant what you said last night?
Of course.
Oh, did something happen?
Is there a marriage? Do I have to make a king? I can make a feast.
No.
No. And no.
Well, she
Do
says,
it.
and she slides her arm into yours and says, apparently I need an escort. Care to join me?
Why, of course.
Great.
Want to go to the Manticore's Tail?
Sure, I have no idea where we're going. I have never actually left the docks except to do a little bit of shopping. So, lead the way, guys.
Up. To the Manticore's Tail I go.
Can we come too?
Um, he kind of looks down and goes, "No, I don't think it's a good idea. Aren't they doing something called like a date? Like we shouldn't bother them."
Okay, we'll find another tavern
No,
then.
no, not at all. You're welcome to join us.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Evan? He gestures at he like points at Leanne's arm. Evangeline only did that to me when she wanted to go on a date and be by herself. So that's what you two were doing.
Okay, well then, and she will grab Dulu by the arm as well. Better?
Oh, hello.
I mean, I've heard of more than one man, but okay, if that's what you're into.
Oh my god.
No, hold on. I have a thing for this. Hold on.
Hey. Actually, I don't know how old they are. They're probably around 13 given the general size, but... Yes, that's weird. That's fucking weird.
Omakazu would shrug. Look, I don't understand the races very well. Okay? But yes.
She said, it's fine. Calm down.
Look, I just want to go to the Rationals, okay? The Godman said that the Rationals is a good place for me to go. I want to go to the Rationals.
Okay, then that's all you had to say. We can go there.
It is en route, so it's not exactly out of your way to nip by there.
He's kind of like walking in that. Well, I say walking. I would imagine he's still waddling because of just the amount of people.
Yeah.
As he's waddling away, you can all hear him mumble something in another language.
So the main.
I mean, panel's staying like right next to you.
So the main route into the city square here, this is the route you would probably have been directed to take, as the Manticore's tail is around here. You will have to go directly past the rationales on the way because it is actually just this building here. It's attached to it. Mostly because it needs to be somewhere big foot traffic. It services all of the workers basically of the city. You are coming just past lunchtime at this point, so it is, not too bad for busyness. You probably be able to get some food.
I feel like one of the words he does know how to read in common is like rations or ration something. And he's like, no, that says meat and opium. Ration. And he starts just kind of like really waddling along.
Hannah will, and to catch, Hannah will go after him because Hannah now really can't leave his side now that she's essentially told one of the guards that she's his handler.
Yup. Tarian, are you coming too? You probably shouldn't be alone when there's all this stuff going on.
You might be sworn by a mob and lynched.
Yes, I guess I could go with you. Well,
I mean, did you have
I need to find a
plans?
place to. Being all honest with you, I don't. I need to find a place to sleep for the moment at least.
Well, same. So, sounds like we're all in agreement. Let's go find some food and get some fucking drinks.
Yay, drinks.
I'm sure there's food at the Manticore's tail.
I mean, it's a tavern, so probably. I mean, I know where the Rationals is. I've been there before, but it's up to you guys.
I mean, the Manticore's tail probably has better food.
Well, Omokaze's already like run towards the rationals and Hanel's going after him because
Also, I
Hanel
also
knows she can't leave him now.
also
Like
I
I
don't.
said, it's not exactly running; it's waddling.
Still, she can't leave your side. She made the mistake of being like, "Yep, I'm his handler."
I don't want to be there when they inevitably get in trouble. So I
Well,
really
I've
don't want to be arrested today.
well, Kren said that this is the best food in all the city.
Is it really?
He shrugs. I don't know. We can
Also,
try.
what? Also, where the hell were you?
You can see his face immediately blush. I was
Oh, I got a better check for this.
oh no.
Insight.
Fuck's sake.
You have to pass a deception.
Oh, I was helping the captain with some paperwork.
Zulu, are they lying? I can't tell.
Just looks up at the Dragonborn directly into their eyes, which is kind of hard considering the massive height difference. It's just debates on saying yes or no for their own good. It's like,
Zulu, if you tell me, I'll go gambling with you.
yes.
So you're with the captain, alone, and you overslept, and you didn't come back to that room. Ha! Oh, I actually like you now. Okay, let's go to the rationales, I guess.
What?
Shit, everything suddenly makes sense now.
Everything. The click on the.
Ah, he's gay.
Is it better that one be sure to say that it like out loud? It's like, he's gay.
You think he doesn't?
It's out loud. It's hilarious.
Oh, you are so lucky, Omakaze. It's in range. The first word the first thing he would have said is, "What does that mean?"
It means you're happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if I'm glad that we're here.
Oh God, the drag. Oh
Rat-
God.
Please, for the love of Pete.
And you gotta remember, Hanel doesn't really understand that stuff. So
Why are all of our characters like so socially inept?
Because it's funny.
I think I have a reason.
That. I have a good excuse.
I do too. Most like half of Hanel's life was spent in a forest. So wonderful.
Well, anyway, to the rationales.
I was gonna say, any parting words there, Torin? Cool. So
He's just silent. He's not gonna say anything.
Socially awkward.
you guys head up
He's being
to
called out.
the Rationales, which is less of a restaurant and more of a sort of stall shack tied to another business. It looks like they've been given the use of a back room, which has been turned into a small kitchen, and a stall has kind of been built onto the front of it, kind of bolt on. There is a very petite dwarven woman behind the stall, which is very, very low because it's aimed at her height, not yours. She has quite a large grin on her face, and is just finishing up serving another late customer for the lunch rush, when she turns and sees you approaching. And At the sight of you, Omakaze, her eyes go wide.
I'd
And
also
she
like to point out he is grinning. However, he is grinning with such mirth that the wrong person he looks psychotic.
I'm just gonna remind everyone of our dear Annie Hart's home. She will see you approaching, and there isn't fear in her eyes, there isn't panic, but there is more opportunity. As
And
she
shock.
turns and surveys her kitchen and stall. So the front of the stall has several parcels wrapped in paper, which seems to be the meals that she is handing out for people. There does appear to be some hot meals ready to go in little cauldrons on the back, and further supplies behind in the actual main kitchen area. And she casts her eyes around this space, quickly taking it all in, before turning back to you as approach, and with a wide smile, she turns to you and says, "Well, hello there, dear. How can I help you?"
His grin, creepily enough, only gets wider. Hey, hello! On the friendly face! Someone who doesn't think that I'm going to hurt them in any way, shape, or form. No matter. I've been told you serve the best food this side of Annul.
Oh, well,
Is that right?
I certainly do try, dear. Tell me, where are you from?
Well, I'm from a small village called Yokai from the southern continent. You know what? I never really got the name of the continent. It's not important. I came from the other continent. I'm an Oni. But
Okay.
according to the accents, I was taught common by orcs.
Okay. Oh, did you spend a lot of time with orcs then?
I did, but I hated their food. I hated it so much. There was nothing but dried meat and marrow and bone. I wanted something better. But one day, we came across a chef, and I stole his food. He had a sandwich, and it was super good. And so I brought it home to Mum, and I brought him home to Mum. And together, they both explained the concept of rice. It wasn't something that we could get. It's apparently very expensive, and what was the word she used? Labor intensive. Yeah, so I couldn't have it. But she said, but, my, thanks for a moment, not sure about what word to use. Wife? Lover? Oh, she's dead. She's old. She was old.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries. She was a human. Humans don't live for very. I live for very long. I'm 122. Thanks for a moment. Well, anyway, Evangeline told me that up here they have a loads of rice, and they have what we call onigiri. It's like little rice balls covered in well, we call well, mm, thanks for a moment. We call it nori, but I believe it is translated in the common tongue as seaweed.
Okay. I will say she's been hanging on every word you had said. She is like leant on her bar, peering up at you because you are like 3 times her height. Just staring up at you and hanging on every word as you tell her about the food that you're used to and that you like. She's going to step back a moment and say, "Okay, so a few things we can do then. Normally, I have a taste of everybody's homeland, and I can give them that. You're a bit of a special case. I've not come across any of your kind before. Okay, first things first." And she turns, reaches under one of the counters, and pulls out a map that's about as big as she is, which she sprawls out on the table, and it is of Arathan. "Point out your home for me, please, dear."
He points at like right at the edge of the wasteland. This little tiny hamlet that you can barely see on the map. Right there. That's yokai. We used to go into the wastes. We had to rent for food. It was really sad. I didn't like doing it all the time.
Okay, and you didn't like orcish food, yeah?
No, I didn't. But if you haven't tasted any of my food, here. So he reaches in and he pulls out what looks to be a half-bitten bite, like a half-bitten like clump of karage, and he like breaks off. Karage is just fried. It's just Japanese style fried chicken.
Yeah.
So he breaks off half of it And he's like, Troy, this is something my mother taught me. My mom taught me how to make. It's really good. She called it chicken karaage.
Mhm. She will reach over and take a quick bite and pull back, seeming to almost analyze what's in her mouth for a second before swallowing and nodding and saying, "Okay, I have something similar. It's not aimed specifically at your people, but it is from the area. It's from Sunvar. Give me a few moments," and she will turn and quickly begin rifling through the pots of things she has ready, and very quickly deciding that she's changed her mind, quickly ducks into the kitchen and begins running around at 1,000 miles an hour, just dumping stuff out, refilling pots, lighting fires, beginning every process you could think of at cooking all at once. This, for such a small woman, she moves very quickly. And she calls
Despite
out,
this, he's like watching her every move, but
Mhm.
he kind of says, kind of at the side of his mouth, I like this one.
Annal's just sitting there watching. She goes,
She good woman.
And then he stops and he realizes something, and he looks around. Oh, wait, there's a green killer. Why don't you have a guard?
"What did you say?"
Green. He thinks for a moment, slaps himself in the face.
No, it was the the audio problem, not
Oh, oh.
understanding.
He said green. He said he called it a grain killer because
Okay.
he still hasn't gotten the concept that cereal means several,
For
not.
fuck's sake.
He's,
Charlie, quick question.
Yes.
This is something that Bashir is like asking himself. Is there a barber shop nearby?
There would be, not that you've passed as of yet.
But like right next to the rationals?
No.
You kidding me? Really?
Maybe on top?
No.
Really?
Oh my
I
god, no. No. This is not Sweeney Todd. She is not feeding you people.
So he takes 4 points of psychic damage.
Yes.
No, Bashir, this is a question that you made yourself. You said that she was the serial killer. I made the connection to Mrs. Levitt. This is your fault, not mine.
And I
No,
didn't
that's
say it
just
out
your
loud.
fault.
I didn't say it out loud.
Anyway, as she is cooking, the rest of you will presumably arrive catching up. She will see that more people have appeared and quickly finish chopping up the food that she was working on, tosses it into a pan, quickly rinses her hand in a basin that you can see off to the side, wipes them on her apron, and darts forward with a smile, and says, "Hello, lovelies. I'm really sorry. Lots of things going on today. How can I help? Are you all hungry? Are we all looking for some food?"
Yeah, but I'm mainly just here with the big red man.
Of course. There's a lot of you here. Okay, we will start with you, little one. And she turns to you, Dulu, and says,
Hello.
"You don't look like you're from the mainland. Where are you from?"
I'm from the Crab Coast.
"Ah,
Well,
wonderful.
for the moment.
Well, always moving, I understand that. But I can certainly provide something ready for you now. All my meals are 3 silver, and I like to make them special, a little taste of home for people. So please tell me what you think. Any issues, just let me know. I'm happy to make you something more special next time." And she will turn around, pick up one of the brown parcels. None of these are labeled, by the way. She seems to just know what is where, and she will hand you a brown paper wrapped parcel with a smile.
A parcel.
"There's food inside, dear."
Oh, that makes sense. Dulu will, I guess, open it.
It is definitely a traditional meal from what you have seen of your quote-unquote home. There is crab meat and mussels that seem to be steeped in a butter sauce. All of it is cold. This is a cold meal set she has handed you, but it smells really good.
Considering they tend to like the more raw or cold aspect of food, that's pretty accurate.
It is 3 silver.
Let me look at my character sheet. Do I have? I do. I will give them 3 silver.
Cool. And I will say this stuff will keep a short while. It counts as the equivalent of 2 rations. The idea is that you pick this up on a lunch and it will keep you for the full day. And maybe a little leftovers. She does pack the food in there. She will then turn next up the line to Leanne and once again produce a food pack. Very, very similar. Leanne seems to have similar taste to you, Dulo. Then she will turn to Bashir and say, now, tieflings are a little more unusual. They tend to come from everywhere. How about you, dear? Where are you from?
Nowhere important.
Well, do you have a specific cuisine preference?
Bland.
Okay.
Omakaze's eyebrow twitches, but he says nothing.
I can provide you something basic this time, or if you're feeling adventurous, I can maybe recommend some things.
No. Honestly, I don't eat food for pleasure. I only eat for, well...
She places a
Just
hand
trust
over
me.
her heart like she has been shot, like you have wounded this woman. And she says, well, I hope I can change that, otherwise what am I doing here? Okay, I'll give you something...
Omakaze is trying not to lose his mind.
I'll give you something basic for now. But please, I'm sure your friends here will be more than willing to share with you. Anything you would like to try, just ask. I don't mind giving you a small sample. It's fine. And she will hand you again another brown packed parcel. This is very, very simple, basic local rations. There's some cheese, there's some sausage, there's some bread, there's some dried fruit and nuts. It's very basic. It is nice. The sausage is beautifully spiced, and even the bread seems to have some sort of more oaty, herby quality to it. It's very well prepared, but it is very basic.
I hate you because you're making me hungry, like IRL. Fuck you.
Man, someone wanted a
before
character based
session.
on food, so I have to, man.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
She will
I'm hungry all the time.
next turn to you, Torin, and say, it's been a while since we've had any Dragonborn, but I do have several different meals prepared, as always. You never know who's going to come. Tell me, dear, where are you from?
I come from Tarat.
Ah, wonderful. I actually get a lot of supplies from there, so just a second. And she will...
I just want to note that Torin is just smiling very awkwardly. Maybe too much teeth. He doesn't know how to interact with women.
She will again pick up a parcel and hand it to you. It is very much a taste of home. There are mosses, there are frogsheads, there are dried snails. It's definitely a taste of home that you've not had in a while. You left in quite a hurry. You ended up filling your rations on the go. You've been at sea and then crossing a different continent. It's been a while since you've had anything that really reminds you of home. This is lovingly prepared, delicious food that kind of just makes you think of your dad. He was no fantastic cook, but he was a good man.
Oh. Well, good man, that's in question.
Just because you don't like one part of his truth does not mean he was not a good father at times.
Fair enough.
And he did always make sure you were fed.
I will also give no, he deserves to die. I will also with the payment, with the 3 silver, Torin's gonna give her a note with what the fuck? Oh, hi, lovely. A note with this ingredients and then point at Omakase.
She seems slightly surprised, but gives you a short, sharp nod and then looks nervously at what she was cooking in the kitchen.
This is definitely like that. Oh no, I'm fucked.
She will then glance back and turn to you, Hanol, and say, and last but not least, I'm sorry, dear, I kind of ignored you when you arrived. That's very rude of me. How about you? Where are you from?
Make never good at pronouncing my homeland.
The
She'll
map
just
is
pull
still
out her-
down. The map is still down if you do want to just point it out.
Yeah, she'll just point it out and she'll go there.
Okay, Mance in the south. Is that Rhaegar you're pointing at? The capital?
I kind of lived in the capital for like half my life, and then I lived in the forest for the other half.
Okay, okay. That, Trying to think what's native down there. It's been a while. I don't know how many supplies I'll have, but I can certainly whip up something that's similar. Unless you want to try something a little different today?
I mean, I'll have whatever Oma's having.
Are you sure? I mean, it is similar styles of cuisine, but I'm happy to make something more specific for you if you'd like.
I mean, I've just been living off of nuts and berries and the plants off the forest for like 15 years.
Again, she looks like she's been wounded at this. Well, we've got to change that immediately then. Okay, give me just a few minutes. I need to go and check on the kitchen and finish up a few things. I'll still be able to hear you. If you need anything, just shout. But just give me a few minutes. And she again zips back round the back and begins moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. There seems to be some level of panic in her face now. She takes out half of the ingredients that she had put in, shuffles them around, changes them around a bit, begins finishing up, wrapping up on that, and then turns and, as secretively as she can, begins working on a second set of dishes. It's kind of hard. You can see everything. There is a great big window into the kitchen area. It's just open straight through. So there's not much she can keep secret except for working directly behind all the pots on the side, which she seems to be doing her best to do.
I have a question. Can I try to see what they were originally trying to fix on Makaze?
Well, she hasn't stopped cooking that. She seems to have just made the portion smaller.
What would they take out? Oh, it's just smaller then.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Very
A
interesting.
smaller portion. But yeah, she's more than happy to chat if you want to, but I'm going to assume people are going to be awkwardly kind of stood.
Actually,
I got
no.
my food.
Well, Omakaze is gonna sit there. He's gonna look at the fact that there's silver on the table and then like put two and two together and go, "Oh, King God, I didn't do it really. Oh, you gods!" And he starts like rummaging in his own bag, and he finally pulls out he pulls out 6 silver and puts it on the desk on the thing. And then he thinks about it, and then he puts 2 more silver. Congratulations, he's completely and utterly broke. To which he's like, well, I'm a bigger person, so I presume that my rations are more expensive. So there's that. That's for the ingredients, and then an extra 2 silver for the effort of cooking for myself and my looks at everyone else.
Oh, don't be silly, dear. It's a flat rate for everybody. Everyone gets a similar sized portion, so it may just be that you'll have, slightly smaller meals for the next 2 days, or just eat it all in one, I suppose. It is a flat rate, though. I don't charge anyone extra or anything like that. And don't worry, I love doing this. That's why I offer. There's no extra charge. I'm happy to do this. She begins quickly plating up, and she does come up front again. And first she places down in front of you a bowl of hot food. It does appear to be some sort of meat in breadcrumbs, a creamy buttery sauce on top, and rice. A big, big bowl of rice. And she will explain that this is something that she has found from Sunvar. They call it katsudon. She's made it with chicken, since you seem more enamored with that than her normal pork. But she hopes that you enjoy it.
Hold on, I need to roll a wisdom saving throw.
For fuck's sake.
That one.
Okay, so there was 3 levels of what he would do. One would be he would literally leap over and like bring her into a big hug, declaring that he is now declaring that he loves her with all of his heart. The second level is that he begins bawling like a child, and the third one, he just sits there very quietly.
Which one do we get?
This is the second level. As he sits there and he's just like,
oh dear, no, please don't. And she will, at that point, pull out the plate that she'd been keeping behind her back, which contains a sandwich cut in half. So there's half for you and half for Hannel at this point, and sets it on the side, containing the ingredients that Torin told her about. Um, and she begins immediately panicking and waving her arms. Oh no! Oh dear, please don't! Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
He looks down. He's like, I'm so happy. You brought me rice. I've never had this in my life. And he just takes he takes one of his spoons, which you will realize is like slightly bigger,
Mm.
and he takes and then he's like, no, I must bring out my mutton's utensils. It's for a special occasion. And he brings out giant metal chopsticks. And he begins very slowly eating it. And like as he looks up, like I don't know if you guys have seen that really stupid anime trope where when they look up, just tears or like water just streaming down his face. This is about as close as you'll ever see this happen to anyone, as he's just bawling his eyes out. He is as happy as can be. Also, I am so in character. I myself am in tears.
She will turn around and hand Hannel a bowl as well, as you requested the exact same thing, though she does seem very, very worried about Omakase.
So okay, he's just very, very happy because he didn't have good food before, so he's just happy he has good food.
Well, thank you,
Yes.
dear. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, and she's just like Hannah is like patting. She's of course like only 6 foot tall compared to how big Omokaze is. It's just,
8'7". No,
Yeah.
7'8". Sorry, I always get those two numbers mixed up. He's
And she
about
just
7'8".
yes, she's just patting Omokaze's like arm. She goes, "Oh, it's okay, Oma. It's okay.
And
Just eat
don't
the
worry,
good
dear.
food."
I'm not going anywhere. Feel free to come back anytime. I'm happy to cook for you.
You know, and she's like, I'll make sure. And if you don't have a car, you let me know. I'll come by and I will sit right here and I will make sure that you're safe. And then he stops, realizes, and he looks at Houndel. Oh wait, this is kind of complicated all of a sudden.
You,
It's
Wait,
okay.
Bashir,
what
there's
the
no
fuck did I
line at
come
the
into?
moment. Bashir, there's no line at the moment. There are some small stools in front which you guys have taken up now, which make the stall look a little busier than it is, and most people are just walking past at the moment. You've got to remember this is after the lunch rush. You only got to the front of the queue about noon for the customs, and it was at least a good hour or so there. You are past the lunch rush now. She has the time to be doing this. There are probably people walking past on the street. This is a main thoroughfare who are slightly freaked out by the giant red man bawling his eyes out, but there's no queue at the moment, so you are safe on that front. Yeah.
Ricardo, what you came back to is a few things. One, Omakaze got his desire of having rice because he got katsudon instead of actual like an onigiri.
Mm-hmm.
So he started bawling his eyes out. Unfortunately, I'm so in character, I myself started bawling my eyes out.
But she will offer to wrap up the sandwich for later in that case, as you seem a little distracted, and it is cold anyway. Um,
Fine.
She
Me
will-
and Oma will eat the sandwich later.
yeah, you will have a much smaller parcel beside you.
But
Which
yes,
one
no.
of y'all is discording me?
The look on his face is definitely one of complete and utter bliss.
Mm.
Congratulations, this woman will not be physically harmed as long as this Odie is around.
Hey.
So I'm free to sleep. That's all it requires.
And Hannel, because Hannel understands money, but Hannel has never had a use for money, so she'll just slide Annie a full like gold piece and be like, just take it, please.
She will slide you back change. She is not going to take any more than 3 silver from any of you. But yeah, she will basically spend the rest of this time asking you questions about your hometowns, where you are from, what sort of meals you grew up with. She seems very, very focused on food. She will entertain other conversations, but she does seem to steer everything back to food.
Which means, yeah, no, Omikaze has officially fallen in love with this woman harder than he fell in love with, Evangeline. Like, so with Evangeline Gare, he loved her, but he wasn't clingy because A, she lived in a small house and he couldn't fit in there, or rather, he couldn't comfortably stand, and B, she was human, which means she's just naturally not as stout. However, she is both in a large enclosement, which is this stall for the moment, and she's a dwarf. Even he knows that dwarves are naturally more stout than humans.
She's
He's
also
gonna get
very
a
petite for a dwarf, remember. She's very short.
Oh, he doesn't give a no. See, the phrase "pick on somebody your own size" does not apply to Omikaze. He
Coño,
does
tío, ¿lo vas a matar?
no, hombre, tampoco no, no es un completamente idiota. Vamos a
Okay,
decir,
English, please.
no se lo va a dejar una mancha.
English, please, guy.
I was
Sorry,
gonna say that Omakase is gonna kill her.
I said translation. He's not going to leave her a stain on the ground, but at the same time, he will be very,
This poor
very
I can
clean.
hear disappointed DM noises.
Poor Annie. She's just like sweet,
She
kind.
did this. She did this on purpose. Do not give me that.
No, I told you in advance that I already had this character and that she was just sweet and kind and just wanted to make some good food, man. Like, the character has not changed at all for you.
Well, unfortunately, you happen to create literally his perfect female counterpart. Congratulations. Well, while
She-
Omikaze will not be anything close to the bard of the party, he will definitely hound after this woman.
Jesus Christ. Okay. She will eventually politely try and get you to shuffle away from the stall because she needs to prepare for the dinner rush. She got work to do. But she will obviously advise you can return any time, and she will try and make sure she has more appropriate meals for you in the future.
He's like, and as he leaves, kind of dejected, he's like, I'll see you again.
I look forward to it, dear. I'll see you soon.
Okay, now we need to go to the tavern, Oma.
He just nods as he walks away, and hopefully, I say hopefully because with his size, it's a little hard to do this. Hopefully, out of earshot, he pipes up and says, she keep calling me dear. She likes me.
Okay, perfect. So, you guys are heading towards the tavern, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Maybe.
Excellent, excellent. So, the Manticore's Tail is probably about a 30-minute walk from where you are at the minute. It's not super far away, but it's also not exactly the closest. You pass by a couple of other taverns that seem quite empty, to be perfectly honest, at the moment. They're not exactly raucous. It's about, 3 in the afternoon, so it's not super... it's not peak time for taverns. But eventually you do make your way through and find yourself outside the Manticore's Tail. It is a surprisingly nice looking little tavern from the outside. 2 stories. You can see that they have cleared out the area around it and now have got a patch of grass instead of the cobblestone that most of the area is surrounded by. It seems lovingly tended to. Several bushes. There's even a tree you can make out behind the building. It is quite close to the wall and to the river. If I am on the right sheet, it's over this way. So they do have slightly more room than some of the other buildings here. But I'm going to now drag you over to the correct map, as we have a map for the Manticore.
A map.
A
How
map.
dare.
Oh, I've just realised that there's 2 NPCs on one chair there. You can sit over there. Someone's sitting on a lap. Blue orbs, basically NPCs that are unimportant. You've seen them on the ship. You can talk to them. I will happily roleplay with any of these NPCs, but they are stuff that I don't have a token for, basically. Please don't
That's
panic.
okay.
We are not immediately jumping into combat just because you see blue orbs. Uh, but you walk up
I
to
cast Fireball.
you walk up to the Manticore. It is relatively quiet. Again, it's not exactly a busy time of day as you approach. And as you push open the double doors and step out onto the small bit of rug that they have here, you see two figures at the bar immediately look up and give you a smile and a wave. The first of them, the nearest, is a young girl you'd probably put around 17, maybe 18 at a push. She has a pile of books spread out on the countertop of the bar and seems to be scrolling in them furiously. She gives you a wide grin and a wave before immediately turning back to her paperwork and quickly scribbling something else down. The man next to her, you can see immediately with a familial resemblance, is probably her father. He too offers you a smile, though it does seem slightly more customer servicey. He seems to be actively trying to clean and just make himself look busy, while keeping an eye on what is happening in the tavern. Again, it's not particularly busy. There's a couple of tables filled, but there's plenty of room. But the gentleman will put down the glass he is currently cleaning, step up towards the bar, and offer you again this award-winning smile and say, "Welcome, friends. How can I help?"
I know that I at least need one room for me, and she'll point over to Omokaze, who is a lot bigger than her, and go, and for him.
He's looking around and he's like he's just taking a long whiff of like you know the area, so to speak.
I do have a room that would probably house both of you, though not a single bed. I hope that's all right.
That's fine.
Okay, good. No problem.
I'm
And
just his cancer, so that's fine.
okay, that is no problem. And how long will you be staying with us?
Not entirely sure. Probably at least a couple days.
Okay, so if I
Just a couple of days, at most 2 weeks.
Well, let's just do a couple of days for now until we earn some more money, okay?
okay, I
He's
can
right. That's just it. That's the thing we need.
I can set you up in one of our larger rooms. That's no problem. It will be slightly more expensive, however.
Okay, how much?
It's going to be about 4 silver a night.
Okay, that should be fine.
Okay, I'll put you down for 2 nights. And he reaches under the counter, pulls out a book, slams it down on the table. It is a big, thick, heavy, leather-bound tome. Flips over several pages and begins writing in it and says, "May I take a name?"
Annul.
And how do you spell that? And you hear his
Sure,
daughter sigh heavily next to him.
It's Hanol.
Okay, perfect, excellent, great.
Omakazu would kind of sniff, and he looks at the father. You the chef?
I do prepare some of the meals, yes. Me and my daughter take it in turns.
He thinks for a moment. What if I help cook? Would that lower the price?
I mean no offense, sir, but I am not entirely sure that our kitchen is equipped for a man of your stature.
He kind of like does like a very dismissive like wave with his whole arm. Bah, don't worry. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out like some of his tools that are more suited for someone his size. And he goes, I brought me own things, if that helps. Besides, just because I'm big doesn't mean I need help that much.
He sends a hopeless glance over at his daughter, like, "Please save me," uh, and looks back to you and says, "Forgive me, I do not tend to let customers into the back rooms. We can perhaps talk later if you are looking for work.
I mean, it would help earn money, and Omokaze likes to cook.
If it helps, I bring me own spices. I don't have to touch yours. I know people are very, very particular about how they organize their spice racks.
Sure. Let's get you and your friends set up, and perhaps we can discuss it later.
Okay.
Okay, great. So that will be for 2 nights then to start with, yes?
Yes.
8 silver then, please.
Okay.
Who's next? How can I help?
Omakaze would just kind of step aside.
Let's go over to a table, Oma.
Very well. I want to finish the sandwich.
I am back.
Hello.
Well, hello there.
Good afternoon, sir. How can I help? Are you looking for a room as well? Room and board?
Yes. Hold on, I'm making sure I'm getting this name right. Yes. Dell sent me. He said Will at the Manticore's Tail would.
The customer service facade falls immediately, and he seems to look at you shocked for a moment before a genuine wide smile comes across his face. And he says, Dell, you spoke to Dell?
Oh yes, he's quite a nice person.
I'm genuinely surprised. I didn't realize he was back in town. Not that he visits anyway. How long ago was it you saw him?
Considering we left the ship this morning, he's probably still at the dock. Most likely unloading the ship.
The girl next to him slams her book shut, stands up, and immediately begins scurrying towards the door before her father calls out, Talia! And she stops, and he shakes his head slowly. And she slinks back and sits back down and opens her book again. Sorry, it's been a while since my brother visited. He seemed well, I trust? Did he say anything specific?
Well, not really. He said he mostly directed me here. I mean, he didn't really say much, but
well,
yeah.
Of course. I'm glad. It's good to hear that he sent someone our way. Forgive me, I haven't seen my brother in person in a few years now, so. But personal problems. we can brush over those. You were looking for a room, is that right?
Yes, room for me and Leanne, and well, one for the child.
Hello.
Okay, we do have a couple of rooms free at the moment. We have a couple of communal rooms and 2 family rooms free at the moment. I could certainly put you in a family room if that would be preferable.
Bashir looks at the other two, seeing what their opinion is.
Yes, family.
Yeah, Leanne will sort of shrug and like, yeah, sure. I've not been here before.
Oh, well then, a family room for 3 nights.
3 nights, okay. That will be 4 silver a night again. And I will get my daughter to show you to your rooms momentarily. And he again begins writing in his book. Name, please.
Bashir. As Bashir slides him 3 gold. I am so sorry about the Oni. He is very, very, very loud.
Man, not only are you racist against freaking Dragonborn, now Oni are just crazy?
He said loud, actually, but sure.
Close enough.
It's no problem. We get some of, well, not his type specifically, but we do get some interesting folk in here occasionally.
Of course. You and me have to have a talk later. I've heard there
I
are some
agree.
nasty rumors going around, and well, I need to talk to you about a few things.
Yes, he glances over at the wall behind him where you can see one of the notices is actually posted. I'm happy to answer what questions I can. There's not a lot of information about that, but I'd like to speak to you about my brother anyway, so...
And Bashir looks back. We should probably get out of the way, considering the Dragon Ball on is trying to get a room. We'll talk later.
He shares a glance with his daughter, like, this is crazy day, but sure. And then offers you again his customer service smile, Torin. How can I help?
I think he's trying to cut off his
Are
ceiling.
you muted still there, Ricky, or...?
I am so stupid. Fuck, what was I saying?
No idea, my
Yeah.
friend.
Torin's gonna give him also a smile,
Mhm.
but a genuine one. He
Mhm.
doesn't know that he's being like condescending or whatever.
Not exactly condescending, just robot.
Well, yeah. And he says, "Well, I was looking for a place to stay the night for a couple of days. I'm new in town, so
Of course. Well, we do still have some rooms available. Is it just you on your own?
I'm afraid so. Yes."
Okay. I do have a couple of double rooms or some communal rooms available. It entirely depends on what you would prefer.
Well, I don't have a. I don't mind just sharing my room.
Okay. We have a communal room that is available at 2 silver a night.
Okay.
And how long would
He
it be
will.
for?
Well, being all honest, I don't know. Let's do a couple of nights first.
A couple of nights. Okay. Perfect. So that would be 4 silver in total. Can I get a name as well, please?
Torin.
Torin. Perfect. And I do apologise for asking this. May I see your papers, please?
Oh, yes, of course. Did I get the papers?
Yes, you did. Yours
I
is
hope
a
so.
red book. Yours is in a red
the
book.
Oni wasn't asked for papers because I'm the handler for the Oni.
This is racism at its peak.
Yes, I'm pretty
All
sure
he
we've
does-
established that.
All he does is he makes sure he copies down your name correctly.
Ah.
He makes sure that it matches your paperwork. So it's not just a matter of with Hanol, he just wrote Hanol, Bashir, he just wrote Bashir. He fully copies down your first and surname into the book.
Okay, you do remember what my character's last name is, right?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, he basically just makes sure that you're kosher before he hands you the book back, and nods at his daughter to guide you all to your rooms upstairs. I can show you very, very briefly the rooms you have been given, because I do actually have an upstairs.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So you have a good idea as to where you are all laid out. You're all on the
Something's gonna tell me that
street-facing
I'm
wall.
gonna be. Something tells me that I'm gonna be the one that sleeps on, like, in the far corner.
Anna will allow Omokaze to have the bigger bed because she knows he is bigger than her.
Yeah, that was the idea. That's why you have the biggest family room. He was like, yes, must put them in the corner suite.
She will literally look at Omokaze and go, "You can have the big bed. I'll take the little one."
But the young girl introduces herself as Talia and guides you each to your room in turn. before smiling and zipping back downstairs as quickly as she can.
Yeah, that's what Hannah will do. She'll go, Oma, you can have the big bed. I'll sleep in the little bed.
Omikaze's a little confused. But he's like, okay, I have no problem with sleeping on the floor. But
No, you should sleep in the big bed. It's nice and big. And you're bigger than me.
okay, fine. So, he, he
Well,
essentially does as she asks.
Possible.
Okay, cool. I assume you all head back downstairs pretty quickly after dumping your equipment?
Yeah. Omikaze still has his, like, quarters cleaver in his cooking bag.
I have nothing to leave there.
That is
Just
fine.
Hannah
It
will
was
leave
just...
most of her equipment upstairs, but then she'll go back down and she'll go with Oma back down. She'll go, let's finish the sandwich.
Yes, I've been told it's disrespectful to eat food in a bedroom.
Yeah, it leaves a big mess.
Bishop, before you go downstairs, Leanne will let Dulu head down as she is rummaging in her bag, and she will collar you before you follow after.
Yes, Leanne.
Do you maybe have a minute to talk?
Of course.
Oh no, he's
Great.
going to get shanked. Oh well.
So, I hope this is okay. I kind of just showed up and tagged along.
Oh, it's completely fine. I'm
Okay.
going to be completely honest with you. You and Dulu are the best company I could have, just in general.
Okay, great. Because I kind of worried a little bit I'd overstepped. But good. That's good. I will admit I haven't been this far inland in like 10 years, so yeah.
I will be completely honest with you. I have absolutely zero idea where we are right now.
Okay, all I know is we're somewhere in Annul. We're in the central quarter. That's all I got. So I'm glad we're on the same page there. I mean, I kind of grabbed Torin because I thought that he would know where you guys had gone. I mean, it seems cool that you guys are sticking in a group. Is that the plan? Do we?
I have
My question
absolutely
is,
zero
okay,
idea.
so we both don't know anything. We don't know where we're going or anything, right?
Oh, absolutely not. At the
Cool.
current moment, I am completely. My goal is to help Dulu and their goal. I honestly. So. Oh, this may sound rude, but. Well. I don't really. The others don't really have goals that truly interest me in any way, shape, or form. Like, yes, going out and eating all the food in the world or something. And besides Hanoi, the others' goals don't really interest me.
Well, I mean, it's something to do. As long as we're traveling and doing stuff, I kind of get restless if I stay in one place for too long. Hence the working on boats. And you can see she's sat on the edge of the bed and one of her knees is bouncing vigorously. She definitely seems to have some sort of restless leg going on. You've caught this a few times when you were gambling with her, and it usually is a sign of her either being excited or nervous. I don't do well with staying in one place for very long. Yeah, I like to keep moving, so I'm all for this. See what happens. But yeah, I kind of just told Grull, I quit and left. So I have no plan. I haven't done something like this since, well, about a decade ago when I signed up for the ship in the first place. So
since 1964. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
where's that psychic damage?
course. Well, I really do. Well, if we want to go and do help them, then I guess that's fine. Also, oh, one more thing.
Mhm.
We should probably make sure we are not like. We should probably make sure like the Oni and the Dragonborn don't get shanked by a lynch mob.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I kind of like. I know that it's supposed to be, oh, you're a girl, you have to be protected. But I think they're the ones that we need to keep an eye on. This is gonna. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be something new, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, like what? Here's the thing: it's a serial killer wanted to get away. It'd be very easy to be like to just like make a Dragonborn claw mark on like the wall next to it and be like, "Oh, there's a Dragonborn. He's the one who caused all this," and they viciously rip him apart.
Yeah. I mean,
We should probably go make sure they're actually not being shanked right now.
yeah, probably. And hey, next time we get a tavern, maybe we get our own room.
Yeah.
I
The
didn't want to
issue
say anything
was
because I thought you were kind of
the issue
uncomfortable.
was well, I don't trust that child to be alone more than the Oni and the Dragonborn, for one reason. That child's fucking creepy, man.
I love how you went Jamaican at the end of that sentence. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Dulu. They're kind of cute. They're just, a little spacey sometimes. They kind of remind me of
Yeah.
my younger brothers. So
Maybe you can tell me about them sometime. As Bashir opens the door for Leanne.
she will give you a quick peck on the cheek and slip out and head downstairs. Torin.
Tea and cheers, sitting on a tree. Kissing.
When you are dumping your stuff off in your room, you do notice that the two beds that are also in this room do appear to have someone's equipment piled up on it. There is a backpack on the far bed, the northmost one here, next to the pillow, which does appear to be full of equipment of some sort. You can see a couple of scroll cases sticking out of the top immediately, long ones. You could assume probably maps, but you're not entirely sure at a glance. And there is also a set of armor stowed under the bed. So there's definitely someone in this room with you, which you were told that it was a communal room, so. Just gonna drop your stuff up and head down, or are you muted again?
Hmm?
Okay, cool.
Who?
Just
me. Sorry.
silence.
I disassociated real bad.
Wow.
Yes, I'm gonna leave my stuff.
Mhm.
Is there a chest or is there an...
No, there is space under the bed to put some stuff, and there is a chair at the end of your bed, but that is it.
Okay, I'm gonna put my weapons under the bed and hang my armor in the chair then. And yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs again.
Okay, great. When you guys return downstairs, the tables that you had sort of started sitting at, you notice there is a pitcher of ale on each one for you. Bashir, as you step down, the barman gives you a nod and a quick wave and turns back. He seems to have been talking with his daughter about something. But yeah, you are now free to do as you please.
Why is no one saying anything?
Because I was gonna explain that Omikaze would just be sitting there, unlike what a lot of people think, which is like scarfing down this. No, he's very, very slowly like you would call what he's doing nibbling. It looks like he's nibbling at the sandwich, and he's about halfway done with his half. He mostly attempts to have small talk with Hanol about like where he's from and like the kind of animals and stuff that he like encounter. Usually, it would end up with some sort of explanation as to how he hunted them down and ate them, but that's not the important part here.
Anna will just listen because Hannah lived in a forest half of her life, so she lived off of the forest. So she'll just listen and like eat her half of the sandwich.
Torin, are you not taking a seat, by the way?
I'm trying to talk to myself onto where to sit.
Okay, cool.
And she'll just, she'll pour, Omokaze like the drink and hand it to him. That way he also drinks with his food.
No, he'd be drinking his one bottle of gin. He'd be drinking his one bottle of ginger ale or ginger beer, rather. Very slowly. To which you would look up and see Torin. Hey, Torin, you can come join us. We're just having a talk about animals. Mostly stuff that I've eaten, but animals are the best.
I mean, some animals are good to eat. It's not bad to eat them. You can eat some of them. Some of them don't taste very good. Some of them you shouldn't.
See? The expert of nature even agrees. Animals are good to eat. I've met a couple who don't think that. They're very strange. Call themselves vegetarians. Whatever that meant.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't like to eat them. Some animals are better at finding food, and then there are some animals that are not not the best at finding food, and then there are some animals that are good at, you can eat them. They're pretty decent.
No. These were people. People didn't like to eat meat.
Well, I mean, I've met them too. That there are all kinds of different people too.
He kind of like shrugs. Weird people continue nibbling on a sandwich.
I mean, I've met people that only ate fish.
He looks up. That doesn't sound like a bad diet, I think. I don't know. But he looks up. Well, are you joining us or not?
He will laugh a little bit and then join you in the table.
To which he's like, he looks around and he pulls out one of his cups, one of his flasks, fills it a little bit with ginger beer. Do you remember my ginger beer, right?
Yes, I do.
Hey, I've let Hanno taste some. Well, what did you think? I thought it was a little too not strong. The word we use is umami. It has too much taste. Too rich for beer.
I mean, it's okay. I don't really, I drank water and tea and milk mostly before now.
I haven't tried milk. I've cooked with it. Well, he pulls out the bottle of almond milk that he has. Well, there's this, but it's not exactly milk. It comes from nuts. Strangely enough, I don't know why. It's very sleepy when I drink it.
Oh well, most milk from the animals that you can get it from, you should drink it fresh, because if you don't, then it goes bad very quickly.
I'll keep that in mind. What animal do those be?
Cows, so certain kinds of cows, and goats.
He thinks about it for a second. Looks over toward. What about you? You're from a different place. What sort of foods do you eat? I know that we had this talk before with he kind of sniffs a little. The dwarf, but I thought I don't know. Maybe you could explain more than food. I know that some people get really sick and tired of hearing me talk about nothing but food all day. So, how was your home life?
Sorry, what was the question?
The end question was how is your homeland? Because, and I quote, I know people get sick and tired of hearing me talk.
No, yeah, I did hear that first part.
Okay. Yeah, no, he said, how is your homeland? With a very, very cautious questioning tone, because he doesn't know what you think of your home.
Well, it is a very nice place. I live in. You said that Turret is basically all swamp, right? Charlie?
Mostly, yes.
Hmm.
It's definitely very moist an area.
Moist.
But yeah,
We are the crop of
it's
society.
it's a lot of swampland, a lot of marshland. It does get drier the further west you go, but generally there's a lot of rainfall in the area.
Hmm. Then I will give this information to my partners.
Sorry, don't need to click that.
Yeah, and he's gonna say, well, I'm not too familiar with basically any other race or towns. This is the first time that I travel. And it's not too different from home, but still it's different. And what about you, Hanol?
Oh, well, I mean, and she'll get out her notebook, flipped all the way to the back. And you guys, if you see her flipping through her notebook, you guys can't read any of it except for the very back pages, which is written in common, by the way. And she'll point to where she's written where she's from. She'll goes, "I'm from here." Which is again, I can't pronounce it myself either, which is why Hannah can't pronounce it.
Mance.
Mance. Never gonna get it right.
Mance. It is a very short, easy name. Think dance, but with an M.
And she'll go, "I'm from there, and I lived in the capital for half my life, and then I moved to the forest and lived there for like half my life, and then I traveled and got on a boat, and then I came up here."
You said that you lived in the forest all by your own?
Yeah, with the animals.
Didn't you felt lonely?
No, I had all the animals. They're pretty. Some of them were nice. Some of them I had to beat with my stick, with my quarterstaff. But most of them were pretty nice.
I just
And-
pictured Hanol like grabbing the quarterstaff and bonking owl bears onto the distance, like bonk.
and I learned from a person how to use spells and stuff, and became a druid. So, there's that. But yeah, mostly like lived off the land for like 15 some years.
And you, Omakase, you said that you lived with orcs. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
I did. They were interesting sort. We didn't exactly have a lot of money, and farmland was sparse. So we just we raided mostly. I'm not too proud of it, and it's I learned a lot. A lot of things that I didn't want to, but I did. But one day, like I said, we raided a chef's convoy, and I discovered a sandwich, and I really liked it. And he holds up like the little,
Bite that's
like
left.
the little tiny nibble that's left. I say nibble; it's a sizable bite for any human being, but for
Mhm.
no,
For him, it's a nibble. Yeah.
He's like, and it was an awakening. I discovered that there was more to life than drinking. Oh, well, Keeper knows what's inside that grog and where we got that meat, but it was dried meat and grog. That's all we ate. That's all we drank. And I didn't like it. I wanted something more. And so when we found the chef, instead of killing him or enslaving him like some people like to do, I took him home. I bought him, I guess, and uh, convinced my mother to tell me stories of the old yokai, how they had of the old onis, how they had wondrous cities and empires, and we had wondrous food like he kind of sniffs a little. Katsudon, that was a thing, and we also had tonkatsu and onigiri, and so I dedicated my life to finding more food and finding better food for myself, mostly. It's a little selfish, but you know, it's it's what we do. It's what I wanted to do, and so I did. Um, and he kind of thinks for a bit. So, I apologize for my actions this afternoon, but eating rice for the first time in my life, um, he thinks for a moment. It made me very happy, and I didn't know that a person cries when they're very happy. I found that
It,
out today.
it can happen. You can cry when you're happy, sad, angry, really anytime.
He nods. So I, um, he thinks for a moment. I don't want to seem very strange. I don't know how dwarf societies are, but I very much like that woman. Almost as much as I. Well, he thinks for a moment. Actually, more than I ever liked Evangeline. Though I'm not sure if she would agree to. He gestures at himself.
Well, the only thing you can do is wait and see.
All right, that makes sense. I guess. Um, though I
Maybe,
am worried. She didn't have a god.
well,
Did
she,
God
she,
here?
she might be able to defend herself.
Well, if she can move that fast, I'm sure she can.
She does have all of those cooking supplies, so she might, be able to use those as well.
He nods and pulls out like what looks to be a. It's a pan that has seen better days. This is my first pan. I can't use it anymore because I've had to use it to defend myself so many times. But it is a rather useful weapon on when needed.
Exactly. So, you never know.
I
He
swear to God,
nods.
every time Hannah talks, she de-ages by an extra year.
Soon enough, she will be just an embryo.
He will be a fetus.
Yeah.
So, Dulu, as you've sat here,
Yeah.
you have watched the man of the tavern mutter something to his daughter and then disappear into a back room. At which point, she has slowly slid her way further and further down the tavern bar towards you, until eventually she has reached this point here before the gap, at which point she leans over as far as she can in her stool and goes, "Psst! Hey,
Yes.
do you know stuff about, like, water and that, right? The hair?
Yes.
Great." And she basically just arches her chair all the way into the gap here, grabs one of her books, slams it on the bar top next to her, and stares at you and goes, "What can you tell me about water tables?"
Oh. A what?
Yeah, water tables. You know how wells work, and, well, more specific, like, I'm looking into sinkholes. So long story short, a couple of years ago, you're not from here, right? Of course you're not. Look at you. So a couple of years ago, we had a sinkhole in the city centre, and it caused some some problems, as you would expect, but I can't figure out how it formed. It doesn't
Mm.
seem to line up with anything I know. And I mean, I'm not an expert on the ocean or the water tables, or well, there's sewers underneath it. So where did it come from? It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sorry, I need to slow down. Hi, I'm Talia.
You know who I just pictured with that?
hmm
She's Deku from My Hero Academia.
I haven't seen it, so
She's totally
Anyway.
Deku from My Hero Academia.
anyway, yeah, she
So,
holds out a hand to you to
sinkholes.
shake.
Dulu will, shake their hand,
hmm
despite probably the size difference being alarming.
How tall is
As
Dulu?
Dulu's- I believe 4'5".
She's not that much
Yes.
taller than you. She's only about an inch taller than you at best.
Jesus. Someone around Dulu's age,
Yeah,
assumedly.
yes, she is. I said she's about 17.
How you said? Are they human?
She's human.
4'5". 4'6" is a human 17.
Her
All right,
father's not very
that's
tall either.
alarming. So, you want to know about sinkholes? Dulu says in a questioning tone.
Yeah, if anything you know. If I mean, if you do know, I'm kind of assuming. I don't know if that's kind of rude of me, but
Well, not many sinkholes form underwater. Not really, anyways.
no. But I mean, most of Annul isn't in water.
If I remember correctly, sinkholes tend to form from a sense of corrosion.
Yeah. So this is the thing. From what I can figure out, so it's erosion from underground springs and streams and stuff like that. And I mean, obviously we have wells in town, so there must be something like that running under here. But no one's really done any big studies into it. And I mean, I feel like that's a big oversight of the local council, but that's not the point. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't add up, and I don't know if it's because I haven't found the right book yet, or if maybe they just didn't, or if some. A lot of people say it was caused by magic, and that's what I'm trying to kind of prove one way or
I
another.
mean, magic can do pretty much anything, so that
I know, but it seems a
can
bit
line up.
weird. It just seems a bit weird to me. Like, why? Why would you do that?
Some people are just assholes, to be honest. Especially the wizards.
Yeah, I mean that's what everyone else seems to think. I don't know. It just struck me as odd.
I don't know. Did the place where the sinkhole happened to be anywhere important?
Yeah, it was like in the town square.
I feel like that should be important enough for the council to start caring at least a little bit.
Yeah, right? It seems weird to me. They just sort of wrote it off as magic and then didn't do anything about it, and just yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry. I know I talk a lot and I ramble, and yeah. I didn't get your name.
My name is Dulu.
Okay, great. I don't get a lot of people my age coming around here. I'm assuming you're my age. I mean, you look around my age, so. And she sort of stands up
If
next
it
to you
makes
and
you
sort
feel
of measures
better,
heights.
I don't remember.
She stands up next to you and sort of measures heights and sort of seems slightly pleased that she's taller than you and sits back down.
To be honest, I don't really remember my age. I've kind of just been assuming.
You don't remember? Are you that old? You don't look that old. You like part elf?
Past
And she tries to
about
like peer to see if you've got pointed ears.
they don't. Well, besides the past 2 months, I don't remember really anything about my life. Which is why I've been told to go to the temple here. So I suppose I'm just waiting to go to there Maybe something will happen.
I mean,
Maybe someone will rob me. Who knows?
I hope not. That sounds, pretty shitty. But, okay.
All I have is a crab pot
A crab
that I
pot.
tend to sleep in.
Why?
Well, I tend to sleep with it when I have it cast into the sea. It feels nice.
Oh. So your race can breathe in water then?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I'm a Triton.
Triton. Okay. And she begins flipping through her notebook to a blank page and starts taking notes on what you're saying. So
The border people didn't seem to know much about Tritons.
okay. So I read a lot. Um. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've only read minimal bits about you. Oh, not you. You know, is that rude? Is that offensive? I think that's offensive. I'm sorry. Um. Yeah. I know you exist. You again. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm sorry. Um. Yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Tell me
Well,
more. Tell
again,
me more.
don't remember, but besides 2 months of my life, so I don't exactly know much about the culture or anything. So it's kind of hard to figure things out.
Hmm.
Luckily, I learn really fast. Imagine waking up from getting pushed from the sea and having to relearn practically everything in about a month's time span.
Wow. I. I mean. I write down everything. So did you have anything on you, or?
I had this armor on. I think it's armor anyways. It's made of I think it's made of rotted ship chunks and other woods.
Like, it does look weird. I didn't think it. I thought that was just like an aesthetic thing, like made to look like that.
It looks really damaged, but it works rather well, surprisingly.
Hmm. Well, I don't think there's going to be anyone here who, knows what to do with that. But
I doubt it would fit anyone.
yeah, no.
Then again, I've yet to take it off.
Ooh. How long did you say it's been?
At least 2 months.
Ooh. Okay. I could. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure we run you a bath tonight. How's that? Nice and hot water, nice and relaxing. You can feel the wind through your the wind, the water through your gills. Is that a thing? That sounds like it'd be a thing, right? Is that a thing? Do you have gills?
I do have gills.
Yeah.
I don't know if they work though.
Well, we can certainly find out. I love experimentation, so we can. Okay. Sorry,
Yes, let's
getting
the
ahead of
children.
myself. But yeah, I'll draw you a bath, and we can get that stuff cleaned. How's that? How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay, great. Um, I'll sort that out this evening. Normally Dad charges extra for it, but I'm not. It's fine. It's fine. I'll tell him it's for me. Don't worry about it.
Luckily, I have somehow gained the powers of being decent at gambling, so I have a lot of gold. Well, I have a decent amount of gold.
I'm not gonna charge you. Don't worry. What are friends for? And
I
I didn't
don't
want to
know
say
if I
anything
have
earlier because it
those.
felt a little bit rude. But you do smell a little bit fishy.
I smell like the sea. That
Yeah,
smell
but not
doesn't
in a
go
good
away.
way. Not in a good way, though.
I can't tell the difference.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll run you a hot bath, and there'll be some fancy bath salts and soaps and stuff. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. They're just kind of nice. I got them for my birthday. It's anyway. And then we'll get that armor cleaned up all nice for you, so it's less slimy. It looks slimy. I'm sorry.
That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah. That's why you wash things.
Hmm. I don't know. seems like a waste of time because I go in and out of the ocean so frequently.
Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? So I'm not going to take no for an answer. Drink? Have you got a drink yet? Dad told me to put some beers on your guys' tables, but you don't seem to have, sat down. You kind of just stood here. Do you want a drink? I can get you a drink. I can see you typing.
Yes.
No problem. In that case, we will cut over elsewhere. I will say, guys, I was going to be needing to finish relatively soon. How is everyone else looking for time?
I'm okay.
I don't sleep.
Ian?
I'm all right.
We can pause right now and take it up next time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine.
Me too.
Do you have work, Ian?
Yes.
Cool. So we should probably end here then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
man.
We can pick up
And
next
I'm
week.
back.
Yeah.
We'll finish this up then, and then we'll pick up next week. I actually don't remember the last thing I asked you. So.
Something about I don't know,
Not
bath
taking a no
salts.
for answer.
Not
Yeah,
taking
that-
no for an
which was-
answer. She's gonna make you take a bath. She asked if you wanted
I
anything
don't
to
know.
drink.
It could end with essentially all of us going up to our rooms.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna do. The tavern does pick up a little bit over the course of the evening, but around 9 o'clock, you are in the height of summer, so sun sets around 10. Around 9 o'clock, everyone just mass exodus leaves. There are a couple of people still hanging around the tavern, but not very many. You assume these are the overnight stays. At 9:30, the door is locked by the tavern owner, whose name you learn over the evening is Will McCready. His daughter Talia prepares a nice hot bath for you, Dulu. I don't know if you would actually enjoy it or not, but she does prepare it and leave many, many fancy, smelly things in the room.
See, Dulu likes how they smell because it smells of the ocean, so I don't really want to take a bath, despite everyone else's nose.
The offer is there anyway. She's not going to actively help you bathe, but she just
Hope
leaves
not.
nice things for you. There's a nice soft fluffy towel, and there's some nice smelly things, and the water's nice and warm. But she will,
Okay.
while you are bathing, take your armor and attempt to give it a good cleaning.
You act like they're not going to just escape instead of taking the bath.
You can certainly try. She's gonna be waiting at the door, so.
Well, I don't know. Is there a window in the bathroom?
No, they're internal. If we go back upstairs.
I asked that because there's actually a fucking window in my bathroom.
There you go.
Sucks. It's like, how do I get out of this situation?
The internal latrine and baths is something that the Manticore boasts. So.
My ultimate strategy. Do I have this spell prepared? Hold on.
My God.
I don't. The one time I want the spell. Sadness. Next time.
Does someone has prestidigitation to clean up this kid?
Talia does not.
I know exactly what to do.
She's an amateur historian, not an amateur magician.
Say, is there any noticeable like small holes in the floorboard, or is it actually well kept for once?
The place is very well kept. Traditionally, when they're not in the middle of a mass panic, this place is frequented by several nobles, which is why it's a little nicer than most of the taverns in town.
Okay. Idea has been formed. Whether or not this goes well is debatable. This is going to take forever because you gotta stealth this up.
Okay.
So you know how I have wild shape, right?
Yes.
And it can technically be any beast I've seen.
She's gonna turn into a spider, crawl under the door, and fuck off.
Yeah, the smallest spider, which are very small, by the way.
Okay, great. Roll me a stealth check as the spider. With advantage, because she's not expecting you to turn into a spider.
Oh, let me go find the spider step book. I don't know if there's one small enough to be the one I'm looking for. I'll just use the normal one. So, I'll just roll 2d20s.
Mhm.
+4, so 19.
19, that's gonna do it. Yeah, she will not notice. She puts you in one of the bathrooms and then goes into the and hangs out outside waiting for you to say that it's safe for her to take your armor. But I'm assuming you just don't do that.
I go under the door, go to, well, the room that Dulu's staying in, which is technically the family bunk, crawls into the chair that they're, well, not even chair, it's the bed, isn't it? Yeah, right here, just crawl into the bed and unwound.
That is
Just-
fine.
I don't know if these two are in here at the moment, but I guess I'm just staring at them if they are.
Yeah. I think this is when everyone is heading to bed, so. But we will leave it there for tonight's session. Thank you all for joining me.
Yes. I will say there'll be one
Sorry for being
incredibly awkward thing.
late.
Did
You know what
everybody
the awkward thing is?
What?
It's called Dulu just literally stares at them in bed for the entire duration of the night, unblinking.
Yeah, you're not the only one that doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
I just imagine you and Bashir just staring at each other all night while Leanne tries to sleep fitfully between this weird fucking situation.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bashir can move. Dulu has to be standing still, completely still, staring in that one direction.
Just uncomfy all around. But with
I
that,
mean,
Carry on.
Hannah will sleep, but she doesn't dream, so she's just hoping to have like a vision from like and talk to her mentor because she hasn't heard from him for a bit. So she's like, maybe he'll contact me tonight. Hopefully, he's okay. And
Hope he
she'll tell
answers my
Oma
text.
good night.
Oma will after he finishes, he will just literally walk up and just go to sleep. He'll walk up, he'll drink his almond milk, purposely fail the save, put the stuff off, and just go to sleep.
You're gonna have to buy some more almond milk soon, dude.
I mean, in
Almonds, I
theory,
guess.
it's created in the cook bag, so I don't know how that magic works, but it does. I'm
Yeah, you do.
assuming he
You do
has
need ingredients
surplus
for
of-
some of the things, though. So
I'm just assuming like this is his last almond milk,
yeah,
as he had a surplus of nuts.
yeah. Okay, that's fine. I have to go shopping soon. But perfect. One last thing before we go, Torin. When you do turn
Yes.
in for the night, you notice that the bag and the armor are gone.
Told you someone was gonna get robbed.
Is there anyone else in the room with me?
Nope, no one turns up all night.
Fuck.
There were 2 other people, bare minimum, that you saw downstairs, but they do not come into here, so you do get the room to yourself for the night.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Where are my stuff?
No, your stuff has not been robbed. You're fine. It's not been touched.
Wait, what?
Your stuff hasn't been touched. The bag and armor that were here on this bed, that's what's gone.
Ah.
I thought you'd just been robbed. I'll be
No.
realistic.
Yeah,
No,
I thought that too. I thought my
on me.
armor and my bags were stolen.
No. I described when you first came in, there was a bag of equipment and armor on that bed. It is now gone.
Mm.
But with that, we're going to call it a night, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. How did everybody enjoy themselves?
Sorry for being late.
It's alright.
Happens.
I mean, I actually ended up bawling my eyes out, so I guess that tells you how in character I was.
Yay, for emotional.
It was very cute.
I mean, Omakaze is a big kid in his own right. He's just a different kind of kid.
The funny thing is that Hannah can be very mature when she needs to be, but she has a persona of being very childlike.
That's how she acts.
And the actual child isn't that childlike.
Omakaze, on the other hand, he just doesn't understand humans. Now, the funny thing is if he were to meet with orcs, you would immediately realize that he's actually rather, like, he understands them very well. and he doesn't do this ridiculous like looking around nervously at everything.
He's more confident.
And then, oh, God forbid if he finds another Oni, though, because then, holy crap. That's when
We'll
he
have to
actually
see.
acts his age of 122.
But with that, then, I'm going to end the stream here, guys. And we'll see you next week. Woo.
Yeah.